Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
OB, we almost had a Jeff Gillooly incident, Tanya Harding. Freaking the interns, Schwartner and a few others, had the stage where the leg was like kind of collapsing. Mm-hmm. And I sat and I was like, I think we're going to have a viral moment and collapse. And then we realized, yes, there was a leg that was not pushed out all the way. That would have been hilarious for nobody, or except the world.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put the the college football playoff committee on the stage next time Shortner wants to end our show.
Look, first of all, I don't care where A&M's ranked. I really don't.
But you do, a little bit.
I promise you I don't. Because, again, in the old days I would care, but you're in. So you're going to have the opportunity to prove yourself and to prove how ridiculous these guys are. But I'll admit it is somewhat annoying to hear some of the
stupid.
Look, it's pretty obvious to me. It feels like that there's a agenda, mm-hmm. and some of the things they come up with to try to justify their rankings is to me is hilarious.
I have no problem with A&M being number 3. Okay, do I think A&M on a neutral field would beat Ohio State? I don't know if I think that. I think it would be a great game. Do I think they'd beat Indiana? I think it'd be a great game. I have a lot of respect for Indiana. I don't like being told by people who don't know football, and I'm just, because Mac Rhodes, sorry, you don't.
Didn't he say the quarterback of A&M was Marcus Reed?
He has said that.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna look. I'm pulling a Nuño, and I know it is, but it isn't. I really don't care. Just give me lie to me better. Be a better liar. How about that? Because your lies suck. Here's what Mac Daddy Rhodes said. It was one of our longer discussions. It doesn't sound like it was that long if you come up with this rationale. Indiana, we gave them the edge again defensively. We talked about that last week, and certainly offensively as well. Let me read that line again. And certainly offensively as well.
You know, I did find that one particularly interesting.
Certainly? I mean,
I know they're number 1 in the nation in scoring offense. They are.
Okay.
But you got to see, this is what a committee needs to do.
Should they look at the defenses they've played?
Right. Like, for instance, and A&M's played some bad defenses too. But I'm thinking they played Indiana State. They beat Indiana State 73-0. Okay, that's amazing until you consider that Montana State scored 63 on Indiana State.
Interesting.
And Southern Illinois scored 55, and Illinois State scored 52. Well, okay, so then you say, yeah, but they went out and put up what I want to look at.
The Iowa game? The Iowa game was pretty impressive.
Well,
right?
Iowa, they scored 20 points against Iowa. Michigan State, they scored 38. Well, Michigan State, I think, gave up 40 to Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
And 45 to USC. So, you can play Penn State, they scored 27. UCLA had 42 on Penn State.
Right. I think it's the word certainly, the offense. How about this? We might give a slight edge to Indiana because they've scored more points, but it doesn't matter. Like, this is what I don't want to happen, OB.
Can I make one more?
Course. Yeah, of course.
Old Dominion. Indiana, the best offense in the country, and obviously better than A&M.
Obviously. Certainly.
Indiana beat Old Dominion 27-14. Marshall had 48 points on Old Dominion, and and James Madison had 63. So the point is, a lot of teams can put up really big numbers if you're playing, teams that can't fight back.
Right. I'm going to continue reading what he says here, or what he's. Yeah, you think of Indiana's body of work and wins. Going to Oregon, against Oregon, in Eugene, the Iowa win. We certainly looked at Texas A&M's win in South Bend. That was a big win for them. The win versus Missouri. The committee talked a little bit about Missouri, not the Missouri team that they've been playing their third-string quarterback, a true freshman. Stop what you're doing and listen to this. Penn State, not as good as Missouri, correct?
Probably not.
Okay. Record-wise?
Record-wise, definitely not.
Flips, right? I think one's 3-6, one's 6-3.
Yeah.
Are they both on backup quarterbacks?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So one goes and beats that backside.
Team, that opponent.
Okay. By 21.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I yelling? I need to relax. It's cool. Zen. One goes on the road and beats them by 21. The other has a beautiful final drive to win the game. Beautiful. Heisman-esque moment. Sure. I love it. Cool. Congrats. High fives. So one team is getting penalized for beating a team at the time that was in the top 15 and had lost to top 10 teams. And they got a Penn State team who basically quit after their Oregon game. And they fired their coach.
Yeah. By the way, I was impressed, and I understand being impressed with a, last 2-minute drive to win to beat Penn State. But why are you not then impressed by a last-minute drive to beat Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Which is better than Penn State.
Here's
much better.
But I do want to say this. I don't want us to be whiny. We're just talking, two guys having a conversation about it. But I don't like the whiny look, right? Because we whine a lot, and oftentimes we're justified. I can think of many A&M basketball, the 2020 college football. There are reasons to be whiny, but you know how you take away?
You just freaking win.
If you win this weekend, you win after, you win at Texas, you win the SEC championship game, you'll either be 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if you win in the playoffs, guess what? You'll be the national champion.
And that's why I don't care, because you're going to be in. So it's going to be a put up or shut up time for everybody.
Yep.
So think of how much fun it'll be, because he's at Baylor. So he's reachable.
Mm-hmm.
How much fun it would be if A&M runs the table and was to beat Indiana along the way.
Oh, by the way, Mac Rhodes went to Indiana.
Yeah, I know that, as did Heather Dinich, who's the mouthpiece for the committee.
Oh, do you want to hear what Heather Dinich had to say?
Oh, yeah. She's, like I said, she's a mouthpiece for the committee.
Here we go. I guarantee you the people in that room care about how Fernando Mendoza willed Indiana to a win at Penn State. Are we giving the Heisman Award, or are we giving rankings on teams?
Again, does Marcel Reed willing A&M to the same kind of victory over Notre Dame, does that not count?
I guess you lose points when you blow out a team, though. Oh, he didn't have to will them.
Right.
I mean,
it's, again, she is a mouthpiece for the committee.
I used to want her on the show. Not anymore. She will always, or I shouldn't say always, there probably have been times when she's disagreed or something with it, but he willed them to win. Well, why didn't he will them earlier in the game where it didn't have to come down to a toe get? In fact, I would say the guy that willed them to win was the kid that caught the pass, because he had to have the presence of mind and the body control to get a toe in, and he got it in by centimeter. Hey, Brad Duncan says, if Bama, Georgia, or LSU, Texas all had our schedule and record, they'd be number 1. Actually, Brad, you're wrong, because Texas, we can look at a common opponent. That common opponent is Florida.
Yeah. What I find funny is now people are trying to discount A&M's schedule. And it's funny because coming into the year, the same people that were discounting them are a lot of reporters or people that vote on the AP poll.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into the season, 5 of A&M's opponents were in the top 15 of the first poll. And then I look at all of a sudden a win over LSU isn't, apparently isn't impressive.
Yeah.
And LSU has lost 4 games. And all 4 losses have been to teams that are ranked in the top 14 of the current poll.
Yep. And also,
And only one of them was a blowout. And you know which one that was?
that was Texas A&M.
With that offense.
But you know what? Whatever. Think what you want. We're used to it.
Doesn't matter. Just go.
If you win football games, and if you lose football games, you justify them. So just win the football games.
Yeah. Just
All right.
win.
Just take care of that. But you know what I find interesting? So there's politicking, if you will, or like, starting to make a case for Marcel to be the Heisman Trophy, invited to New York and maybe win it, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a case for A&M to be number 1, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think we also need to start making a case for Coach Elko to be the Coach of the Year. I don't know if there's been the same energy towards that, and because Cignetti's going to get the love there.
Well, didn't he get it last year?
He probably did. Yeah. Are they against doing it back-to-back?
No, they're not. But I would just think that.
Don't you think the tech coach is going to get it, or would be also in the mix? I guess it always seems like. I
Joey
guess you
McGuire.
could say, yeah, A&M is in this group of a team coming from unranked into playoff contention. So by that metric, Elko should be squarely in the mix.
I think he'll be in the mix, but I want us to kind of raise our game, not just TexAgs, just the fan base as well, because I do think that Coach Elko, that we need to hear more about him, the job he has done, not only this year, what he has done since taking over a program that for a long time knocked on the door but didn't know how to open it. This team hasn't opened the door yet, but they're certainly on their way to opening that door.
The hinges are loose.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I keep hearing a lot about Colin Klein being like that. I think it's the Broyles Award.
Broyles Award,
Yeah, I keep hearing a lot of
that. I do hear it too. Yes, yep. So look, you win football games. Coach Elko will get some awards. Marcel will get some awards.
You know what?
Howell will get some awards.
I guarantee you that Coach Elko cares about one award, and that would be
the national
the national championship.
And I want every award. I want the SEC championship. I want it all. I want to be greedy as greedy as you can get.
Yeah.
Right. Because I want it all because I want to shut everybody up. And it won't but it's kind of like Indiana. I kind of like the Indiana story, except that A&M is being compared to them. But like Indiana was laughed at as a football program. And then last year, we didn't buy them because of their schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you do it 2 years in a row, you're like, all right, this is a program, right? And I think that's what it's going to take. Not only this year, I want it all this year, and give it to me again next year.
Well, yes, we've often talked about how A&M has the potential to be a dominant program. And you have to be dominant. You have to be great more than 1 year to be a dominant program.
One more. Let's hear from your dear friend, Stuart Mandel. There's a tweet that he put out that, I don't know. It just kind of lets you know where these humans are. Does Nick have that one?
I didn't pull it, but I'll read it to y'all, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Stuart Mandel put out, A&M has a great win at Notre Dame. Indiana has an even better one at Oregon. Also, A&M's SEC foes to date are combined 8-27 in conference play. He adds in parentheses, yes, that is a real stat.
Wasn't there a similar stat for Indiana's conference teams?
I don't know. We can debate on whether Notre Dame and Oregon which one's a better win. I mean, yeah. I've seen Oregon escape some games. But okay, look, it doesn't matter. Do you think I really care, or anybody really cares about what Stuart Mandel thinks?
No, I don't care. But I do want to just point out a couple of things. ESPN strength of record, A&M is number 1. Indiana's 2, but A&M is number 1. Sagarin strength of schedule, A&M is number 10. Indiana's 50. Ohio State's 24. So I'm just saying, like, you can divide metrics whatever way you want.
The thing I keep beating my head against the wall was when they talk about A&M's weak schedule, and I say, okay, Ohio State, who is the best team that Ohio State has played?
Texas.
And A&M beat a team that beat Texas.
Yeah. Now, A&M's got to go beat Texas now.
Yeah. Well, no, they got 2 weeks to do.
They got a couple of weeks. But yes, for all that to really make sense,
And I kind of get this idea that if they beat Texas, especially if Texas loses to Georgia this week, like I think they will, that all of a sudden it'll be back. Well, Texas wasn't that good anyway. And it's going to be that way until you go out and
beat a team of substance
and win it all.
Yeah, you win it all. Let's hear from Marcel Reed yesterday. So,
you mean the gingerbread man?
Yeah, we're going to hear from the gingerbread man. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a setup, and OB, you can help me kind of paint the picture. We're at the press conference. Torian York is talking, and then Marcel kind of comes up and doesn't act like a member of the media, but stands in that media section, kind of plays with Torian a little bit. They go back and forth.
Yeah, he's putting the rabbit ears behind people's head, having a good time.
Yeah, it was great. And then somehow Gingerbread Man comes up. I forget how it came up in the Torian presser, but then Marcel basically is called the Gingerbread Man.
Right.
And then somebody, was it you who asked?
No.
Somebody asked.
I think at
Alex
one
Miller.
point I said, what is that about?
Yeah, it was Alex Miller. And Alex Miller asked him, what's the story on the Gingerbread Man?
I call myself the Gingerbread Man. You do? Yeah.
When did you start calling yourself that?
Probably about 5th grade. I used to call myself the Gingerbread Man. I call myself the Dragonfly at one point. I don't know if you guys ever try to hit a dragonfly. It's pretty hard to do. I've never touched a dragonfly.
What was your most Gingerbread Man moment? Maybe this year and before.
Like this year, probably say the Mississippi State where I did a little pump throw, and that was crazy. I don't know how I did that, to be honest. And then in high school, if you go see my senior year highlights, I made a cut on 2 people and made 3 people tackle each other in a game, the state championship game. Unfortunately, we lost, but just going back and looking at the highlight, it was just pretty cool to see.
I've seen that highlight. And it is
Nick, do we
cool
have those highlights, or we do? Okay, you want to watch these highlights?
Sure.
Let's go start off with the Mississippi State highlight that he was talking about. I enjoy highlights, so there goes Marcel. For the radio audience,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
I
fantastic.
remember that one.
Yeah. Now you think you got me, now you don't. And then, okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't say the touchdown run against LSU.
You're in the moment, you think, but that was beautiful. I remember when that happened live, where he just, did the oops.
Yeah.
And then let's go to the high school highlight in the state championship game, where he made 3 guys tackle each
watch
other.
to the right side. I'm sorry, the left side, right there.
They did tackle each other. Look at him go. So those of you on the radio audience, I apologize, but just imagine exactly what Marcel said happened in real life. No AI was needed in that.
2 guys are chasing him, right behind him. A guy's coming up. He fakes out the guy who's coming up to try to tackle him. As the guy's lunging toward him, fakes around him, and the guy goes into the 2 guys that were chasing him, and all 3 fall down.
Hey, this is TexAgs Live.
It is. This is TexAgs Live. It's brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Thank you very much. This studio, we haven't given it a name. I forget.
It's the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Oh, that's right. And we're in the Rollo Insurance Studio during the Go Hour.
Yeah, the Go Hour brought to you by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Thank you, Warehouse.
And we are sitting, hopefully not falling, at the Holistic
Planning Cool Zone.
Yeah, I love holistic planning. You do too.
You
love being cool, and you like to holistically live your life.
Yeah, I just like making money.
Yeah.
And holistic planning is going to help you make money and help you save money and help you keep more of your money.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can do that multiple ways. But I'd say the highly coveted way is by calling the Buppies Catering and
Bartending
hotline, 979-693-1150. Thank you for finishing my thought. We go around the room. We go left to right. We go behind the glass. And that's where we find my friend, Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's on your mind this AM?
I actually kind of agree. I think it was Brad. You read his comment earlier who said if it were, Texas, Alabama, whoever it was, Georgia with the same record as us, they would be the #1 team in the nation. I actually completely agree with that. And I'm not a big the world's out to get A&M. I don't really believe that. But I do believe if it was like Notre Dame with our record, they'd be #1.
Oh, so record. I thought it was schedule, he said. If it's record, then...
I think he was saying if they had our schedule and record right now, they would be #1 is what he was saying. And I actually completely agree with it.
I don't know, because I still think if Ohio State, the defending national champions, was undefeated still, I can't see them dropping from 1.
I don't have a problem with it, but if you're gonna, if you're inclined to dock Texas A&M because of their schedule, how do you not dock or Ohio State? Again, their big win is Texas, which has 2 losses. A&M's big win is also against Notre Dame. But Notre
Ohio
Dame,
State did it at home. A&M did it on the road.
and I believe Notre Dame is ranked higher than Texas in their own rankings. So that in itself makes it a more impressive win.
All right, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Caden Schwartner. What's up, ER? How you doing, buddy?
Very good. Good morning.
Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you.
What's going on in your world?
So, more awards and more honors for Cassius Howell. He was named the Bednarik Award semifinalist, given to the best defensive player of the year in college football. He's tied for number 3 in the country at sacks at 10.5. And just for reference, the University of Georgia as a team has 11 sacks. So he's got the same amount of sacks as
Say that again. Cassius Howell's got how many sacks?
10.5. And the
Georgia's
University
got how
of
many?
Georgia has 11 sacks.
And by the way, nothing's assured, but A&M's next opponent, South Carolina, has given up 34 sacks. They're like one of the worst in the country in protecting their quarterback. And then you got Samford, because A&M hadn't played yet. It's sacrificial lamb, like I talked about Indiana earlier. So I think you're going to see a lot of sacks from.
I wonder how different it is.
He's a sacks maniac.
This late in the season, how much star players play in that kind of game this late? With this so much on the line still.
Well, I have no doubt about them playing against South Carolina.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Samford, yeah.
You play them enough to get some stats.
A half and a half?
I would not be surprised to see, like Marcel, play one half and then a series.
One half in a series. Yeah, I could see that. Schwartner, what else?
So I found a fun fact talking about A&M, us winning 3 consecutive SEC road games. From what I could find, the last SEC team to win 3 consecutive SEC road games without interruption was A&M in 2012.
That's right.
They beat Auburn and then beat Mississippi State, and then the famous game against number 1 Alabama.
That's right.
I remember that stretch very well.
You were here at TexAgs then, right?
That's my first year.
Yeah.
That Mississippi State game, Auburn was a blowout. Mississippi State was a blowout too, but it was an early game.
I want an award-winning barbecue lunch tomorrow with an award group of humans.
Well, unfortunately, Rod Reed can't get a flight to get in early enough.
Okay. But still, if we could invite him and his son.
That's for Friday.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Tomorrow's Thursday. That's right.
But we can, Thursday. Friday, I'm still going to 1775 because I anticipated it so much and talking about, hey, Rod's going to join us and all this. He can't get in his flight early enough. Okay. But now I've got myself conditioned. I've been looking forward to it.
You need it.
I need it. I need that succulent brisket. I need that jalapeno cheese sausage, and I need those amazing pork ribs and some queso mac and cheese on the side. I got to have it. I got to have it. So I'm going to go get it. I'm going to get it Friday. So go to 1775. Come by and say hi because everybody is a friend at 1775.
The Heisman Award-winning barbecue joint in Texas. No doubt.
No doubt about it.
979-492-6241. It is 1775.
And it's good, like Marcel Reed.
Qué rico.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
Baby, baby, baby. With those something kind of jeans. What does he say? Let me listen to it. Hold on. Oh, high heels on.
Oh.
Baby, baby, baby. I'm sure Michael was all about that. This reminds me of Olin Buchanan. When I hear Michael Jackson, I think of Olin Buchanan.
Why is that?
Just a lot in common.
We had the same nose after he's had his fixed.
I didn't say that. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rolla.
My hair caught on fire once, just like Michael Jackson.
That did happen. Pepsi. Didn't it happen during like a Pepsi
commercial?
Yeah. Do you guys know what we're talking about? Anybody?
They have no idea.
You guys know who Michael Jackson is, right?
Oh my gosh.
That's a fake, right? You do or you don't? Can you name one Michael Jackson song?
Thriller.
Okay.
Everybody knows that.
So around Thriller time, Michael Jackson was...
not Miller time, Thriller time.
He was recording a commercial for Pepsi, and his hair caught on fire because of the fireworks or something on the stage, right?
Yeah. He said, Jermaine, Tito, somebody put it out.
Who's Jermaine? Who's Tito?
Jackie.
That's
Janet?
a good question.
You don't know what we're talking about. Have you ever heard of the Jackson 5?
Yes.
Well, those are some of the 5.
Those are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You look more like a Tito guy.
I like the vodka. I don't really, but it just seemed like a good thing to say.
Isn't that a Texas brand?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm out. Anyway, let's do the games that OB wants to watch. I don't have them in front of me for some reason. I don't know where your email went. You want to start us off, OB? What's the first game?
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to go worst to best. So here's an interesting one. Virginia, number 19 at Duke. Both have one loss in the ACC standings. The loser most likely falls out of the conference championship race. And that's really significant because it's starting to look like the ACC is going to be a one-team, only have one team represented in the playoff, and that's the champion. So if you get knocked out of the conference championship picture, then your playoff hopes are gone too. So it's almost like a playoff game in the ACC.
Okay, next game.
Number 21, Iowa's at number 17, USC. Really good defense against explosive offense. That's always fun. USC is 7-2, and they still have these slim playoff hopes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Iowa can be dangerous. The question is, does Iowa still care? Because after losing last week, they're 6-3. They're out of the playoff picture.
Sure.
But if they still care, that can be a really good game.
I agree with that one. This next game I'm fascinated by because what happened last year,
Mm-hmm.
and does it have any effect this year?
We'll see. Number 11, Oklahoma goes to number 4, Alabama. OU is 7-2. They desperately need an impressive victory to enhance their playoff resume. Now, the definition of an impressive victory would be going into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. Alabama has a mulligan to give, right?
Yep.
They could lose this game and still be in line for the SEC championship game.
Correct.
But they just couldn't lose to Auburn later, right? Which isn't out of the realm of possibility. So, because Alabama has one to give, you wonder if who's going to be the more intense, team. But to your point, Alabama lost to those guys last year, and they might want to be settling the score.
The way we look at the South Carolina game is like we got to give them one back, right? So I'm assuming Alabama, a proud program like that, is thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, the difference is that Alabama is pretty much in the SEC championship game, no matter what, because they got tiebreakers on their side. A&M doesn't.
Right. That's true.
So they can they got a mulligan to give.
Next one is Notre Dame at
Number
Pittsburgh.
22, Pittsburgh. So here's the deal with that. Pittsburgh is still very much alive in the ACC championship race. Again, they have to get in the ACC championship to have a chance. But this is not a conference game. So I don't know if you heard Coach Narduzzi this week. He said, I don't care if we lose this game 110-10. He actually said that.
Wait. I don't care if we lose this game 110-10.
Because it's not he said he would rather lose this game 110-10 and then win the next 2 games, which I understand where he's going.
You don't say that.
I understand where he's going because the next 2 games are conference games. They matter. You're not going to get into as an ACC team, you're not going to get in unless you win the conference championship. So the conference championship games are more important. However, I think he might have been trying to, do the okey doke at Notre Dame. Hey, we don't care and all this. So maybe Notre Dame isn't as intense and things like that, isn't as focused.
Yeah.
And then you can sneak up on them, to a Lou Holtz thing. Notre Dame, this is the last team I think that has a
legitimate
remote chance to beat Notre Dame, because they got 3-7 Stanford and 3-7 Syracuse left. So if Notre Dame wins this one, mark it down. They're in the playoff.
Last game, number 11 Texas at Georgia.
Well, I think is Texas number 10 now?
Oh, sorry. I was just reading it off the email.
Okay. That was before so number 10 Texas, number 5. I don't know if you know this, but Georgia beat Texas twice last year.
They did. It'll be the third time within a year they play.
And I think Kirby Smart is just kind of the Georgia coach. I don't think he likes Texas. I think Texas rubs him the wrong way after everything last year.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be up for it. Both teams have one loss in SEC play, so the loser is probably out of the SEC championship picture. Now, if that loser is the Longhorns, they're 7-2, so they could be out of the playoff picture too.
Hey, when we come back, Billy Liucci, we probably need to get to this break because it'll be a good segment. We'll talk about the playoff rankings. What are you wearing right now?
I'm wearing a duck camp. I forget what they call this.
We call it cream, off-white.
Well, the color, cream or off-white. I forget what.
Yeah, it has a name.
It has a name. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's
Charlie.
Charlie. Mr. Chaplin, that's a good look on you, though.
Well, thank you. I like this shirt.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
My favorites are the hoodies.
Okay.
I love the hoodies. What did I wear the other day? There's this fishing long sleeve shirt that I wear that I can run in, I can hang out with. I love that. They got so many different things. And by the way, with the holidays coming up, you want to take advantage of this deal that they have. If you use the promo code TexAgs25, you will get 25% off of your order. So you got to jump on that.
So you're saying if I order $100 worth, they're only going to charge me $75?
Correct. That's
I paid attention in class and math.
That's the deal, by the way. It is Duck Camp, built for the outdoors and designed for everything else. Go to duckcamp.com. We're back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to go to the Buppy's Catering Bartending Hotline and talk to Billy Liucci, the executive editor and co-owner of TexAgs. Liucci, I just found out that I apparently upset Shane Beamer. I didn't know this. Did you know about this?
No.
Obi heard the bite.
I saw it.
What did he say?
So he is, somebody sent him, I don't know if it's a video or audio, but of David talking about Shane Beamer after beating A&M last year, calling their fans the 12th man.
The real 12th man, I think is what he said. Yeah.
I think he said they were a real 12th man. But
Okay,
anyway,
gotcha. Yeah.
and so Shane Beamer is reacting to it, basically talks about it quite a while, about this guy at a Texas A&M website is upset about it. And he says, well, if you're going to be upset, I apologize, but not really, because we, have great fans. So,
anyway, we lost Billy Liucci. I don't know what happened there. So, Billy, that whole explanation, you missed it. Doesn't matter because we're talking college football playoff rankings. How are you, by the way?
Someone was trying to call in, and I tried to ignore it and hung up on y'all. So I'm new to this whole cellular phone thing, I guess.
Oh, good. Hey, I think you and I are aligned on this. That you're Go ahead.
Just give me the quick Beamer version. I hate this delay. It's very upsetting. Just give me the Beamer version. I want to hear what he said about you because I probably agree with him.
he just said that this guy who was talking about it, which was David, was upset about it, but he said, hey, I apologize if I upset you. Not really, because I was just talking about how good my fans are. That's
Nuño was mad about the 12th man thing.
But he stretched this out over about 3 minutes, though.
Is it 3 minutes bite?
I'm guessing.
Oh, that's great. I like Shane Beamer, but I just didn't like him calling his fans the 12th man.
I don't really. He whines a lot, man. A lot. And it's a lot of, I don't want him to come after me next. It's a lot of faux tough guy stuff, like that stuff with Bielema. I would love to see you and Beamer in the octagon.
That'd be a good
He called you out, dude.
Yeah.
He called you out.
But I called him out first. Preemptive strike, Nuño. Actually, preemptive strike from Bronny, because I didn't know about it until Bronny tweeted it. So maybe he's talking about Bronny.
Maybe he is.
It's me. Anyway, hey, I think we are aligned on this, Billy, that the ranking doesn't really matter. It's more about the reasoning of the ranking is what bugged me yesterday again. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well,
and I wish you could hear me when you're talking so we could have a conversation instead of bloop, mute, let the next guy talk, bloop, mute, let the next guy talk. I mean, it's insane. But with that said, moving on here, I agree and disagree. I heard y'all this morning. It does matter because what's happening, so it's one of two things, and one of them doesn't matter as much. If it's Mac Rhodes and Heather Dinich, who's not on the committee, but I'm tired of listening to her too. I'm sorry. Like, I know you can't say that kind of stuff in the sports world because everybody has her on their shows and everybody likes her. I'm tired of listening to her. So nothing against her personally. I just don't like listening to her BS. These explanations that don't make a lot of sense. Like, I'm sure she could sit there and talk this stuff in such a way that she would out-talk us three because we're not studying it every week. But when you have to dive into the specifics of the teams you know about, I think it falls really flat and it seems laughable. And I think other fan bases would probably feel the same. She's talking about their school and their program. So a couple things that are really irking me these days is the love fest with Tech. So they want to talk about A&M's schedule to try to knock A&M from 2 to 3. But I haven't heard one negative thing, not one, nothing, zip, zero, nada about Texas Tech's schedule. Nothing. I don't care that they're in a conference. Go look at who they played in the non-conference. It's an absolute joke. Look what everyone else in the country is playing from now till the end of the season and look at them. Look at Alabama. Look at Georgia. Look at Texas. Look at Oklahoma. Look at even Ohio State draws Michigan. Look around the country at every team we're talking about here. Look at A&M. It's an absolute joke that no one will bring that up. And then going back to what you said about the Indiana thing, like the Mandalorian, Stuart Mandel, the Mandalorian's been sitting there for years. I saw him say something positive about A&M a few weeks ago. It was the first time I've heard it since 2020. Something around the time of COVID shook him up to the point that he is not. If there's anyone that's going to hate A&M, it's going to be Stuart Mandel. So there's that as well. His instance of pointing out that Notre Dame winning at Oregon was a better win than winning at Notre Dame. It's funny to me. At least Notre Dame has been challenged more on their schedule than Oregon, if you want to compare the two. And then secondly, here's the other thing I'd say about that. He points out the conference record. Okay, everyone talks about SEC bias. There is the opposite of that from this group. Anyone that has any affiliation at all with the Big Ten or the old Pac-12, they are biased against the SEC. Allow me to introduce you to a guy that sits alongside one of the biggest yelling and screaming buffoons in sports. His name is Joel Klatt. These people that are in any way affiliated with the old Pac-12 or the Big Ten, they feel so triggered by SEC bias that they don't realize how much they work with an anti-SEC bias. And I think that's what's at play right now with this 1-2 thing. And here's a take. Go look at who Indiana is going to play in their conference schedule. Okay, go look at that. They're going to play. It's like A&M. Like, people thought Auburn would be pretty good. People thought Florida would be pretty good. People certainly thought LSU would be good. Most of these idiots talking are the ones that voted them up there before the season. People thought Penn State would be good. So I don't hold that one against them. But if you're going to do that to A&M's, then do it to Penn State and take out Oregon out of your conference record, because you're replacing Oregon and you're pairing it up with Notre Dame. You've chosen to do that, Mandel, with that tweet. If you're taking a team's best game and comparing them head-to-head, their best win or their best game, then you take that out when you're looking at their conference record, because it's the rest of their conference record, because Notre Dame was not a conference game for A&M. So don't try this fun with numbers and this tricky math crap with me or anybody else, and they need to be called out about it every single frickin' time they do. And it does matter if A&M's 2 or 3. Why it doesn't matter is because if A&M beats Texas and South Carolina, I'm fully convinced they'll jump Indiana for number 2. I just don't think the jackasses on the committee will be able to do that. But where it does matter is it's one of two things, like I was saying earlier. Either it's a love fest for Indiana over there, led by Mac Rhodes and this alma mater, which is complete crap that people, again, no one in the country outside the A&M fan base will point that out. They'll just sit there and nod their heads and listen to how stupid he sounds when trying to explain the differences. You guys went through all of it. Mendoza's Heisman moment. Listen, man, great play, great drive, great guts, great poise on the road. All the things Marcel Reed did. Oh, by the way, while also having 400 yards of offense in that game. 400 yards of offense in that game against a team that is still in your top 10, not Penn State, who you thought was number 2 and now is nothing. So everything they say sounds stupid to me. It sounds uninformed, it sounds unintelligent, or it sounds biased, and they're trying to spin the bias out. And when you do that, you just say stupid crap. So as I sit there, the other option is this. That committee, with Yurichek's goofy ass sitting in there, going, yeah, I watched them in Fayetteville. They didn't do much there either. Our defense, I don't think the defense is good. I watched them first. I saw them in Fayetteville. This crew, 2 guys that desperately wanted this athletic director job, mind you, Rhodes and Yurichek. Fact check me on that if there's any way to do it, because neither one of them can deny it. For them, like, either that or they have a bias against A&M's resume, or worse yet, A&M. And again, it's not about 2-3 now, guys, and this is where I disagree with you. If they kind of just don't really like A&M's resume, what happens if the Aggies did go 10-2? What does that drop look like? We might be underestimating. They might be just begging for A&M to lose a game. What if A&M loses one game? What does that drop look like? Because there's a world where Georgia loses to Georgia Tech, and if A&M drops a game, there's no reason the Aggies shouldn't still climb back into that 4 spot. Above an 11-1 A&M should be above an 11-1 Oregon, should be above Texas Tech. They're setting it up for that not to happen. And the same thing goes for if they dropped 2 games. So it does actually matter. And you know, you could be talking about the difference in a 4 and 5 if they lose. You could be talking about a difference, you know, in a 3 or 4, which again, I know we don't think it matters, but that's one round earlier that you're going to face Ohio State. Or if they, you know, shockingly did lose 2, where do they drop them to? You know, so all this stuff. Hey, by the way, what about that 2 versus 3 and the Aggies don't win out and it's a 5 or 6, and you're either playing a group of 5 at home versus playing probably a pretty damn good team from a Power 5 conference, maybe even the SEC. So it does matter. And if I thought A&M shouldn't be ranked above Indiana, I wouldn't be saying all this. But I think anyone with a functioning football brain knows that they should right now. For now, they should. Absolutely. And if they bring up the Samford thing next week, then I'll really lose my mind. If I hear one of the committee members say the word Samford, I expect it from the jackasses on Twitter. If I hear one committee member say the word Samford, when these buffoons played Kennesaw State and Chattanooga
and Indiana State, they played Old Dominion, Kennesaw State. If we're talking about Indiana, they played Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State in non-conference.
Yeah, Kennesaw State and the Sycamores. I'm not even talking about Old Dominion. So, like, if I hear the word Samford, you want to say Samford, Utah State, and UTSA, and compare that to Indiana State, Old Dominion, and Kennesaw State. Like, I don't know anything about those 3 teams, so I won't even go into a whole argument about that. I have a feeling I know which one's tougher.
Well, they're all of the same ilk.
Probably. UTSA has been a letdown this year, but yeah, no, I just think everything about what they said yesterday disgusted me, if you can't tell. And again, 2-3, it doesn't matter greatly, but it might. And don't lose sight of that fact when we're just kind of rolling our eyes. I agree with what Olin said. You know, just win out, and none of it matters. If you win out the regular season, it doesn't matter. But here's another one, guys. If you're rolling your eyes and you don't think, well, there's no way they'll lose to South Carolina, or there's no way they'll lose to Texas, or we're going to beat them, we're better. I don't disagree with that. I agree. But imagine sitting at 3, going to Atlanta, losing the SEC title game, and somehow dropping to 5 where a Texas Tech or an Oregon jumps in there ahead of you. I mean, I think it sounds preposterous, and they say they're not going to hurt you for the title game. You believe that? Do you want to risk that, or do you want to be sitting at 2 where you belong? And again, that one doesn't bother me as much, because I think if they beat Texas, they'll move into 2. But yeah, you go lose an SEC title game as a number 3 team to number 4 Bama. Do you honestly put it past those people to not drop you out of the top 4? Well, based on what you've heard them talk about?
No, because I could see them be ranked 2, and if they lose the SEC championship game, still be dropped 2 spots. They've done it before, not this particular committee, but I do believe that if they run the table and be 12-0 and then win their conference championship, I think they'll be number 1 ahead of Ohio State, because
I agree.
They will both have beaten Texas, and then A&M will have the more impressive win, Notre Dame, over anybody else that Ohio State would have beaten. I think Notre Dame would be a better win than Michigan.
Billy, we have a hard out in 40 seconds. Do you want to do another segment, or do you want to call it a day?
I mean, what do you want to talk about?
Nothing.
I got time.
Okay. You want to do one more?
How about this idea that Indiana has a better offense than Texas A&M?
Let's do that. Let's just do more with Billy here when we come back on TexAgs Live. We have a couple of breaks. You're always welcome.
I mean, it is your studio.
Brought to you by Rollo Insurance. All right, we'll get back to Billy here in a moment. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Stick around, OB, for the talk with Billy. All right, we'll be back. Were you doing?
I'm trying to do
the Trump dance?
No.
Elaine?
What was the guy's name? Michael Madsen? Is that what his name? The guy in Reservoir Dogs who's dancing to this song?
Oh, yeah.
While they're cutting the guy's ear off.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, it's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program, OB's sticking around because Billy's sticking around, the executive editor and co-owner of TexAgs. We were talking about the playoff rankings and why it should matter. And then I think we last teased it, OB, with what did Billy think about what Mac Rhodes said about the offense? He goes, what was the word he used? Certainly the offense?
Certainly the Indiana offense is better than A&M's.
Billy, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, that was just as stupid as anything else he said, so it barely made my radar. But, yeah, like, again, I heard Olin. He said everything that needs to be said. The Indiana offense, it looks really good when you watch it to the eye, and then you look at the teams they've played, and I'm sorry, man. Like, outside of Iowa, potentially Oregon, I don't know. Like, the defenses that Indiana's playing, like, again, like, I'm looking at A&M put almost 50 up on LSU, and I know, they've dropped out. Well, I just saw Bama struggle to hit 20 against LSU a week later. I've seen what LSU, you want to go out of conference. I know they're not any good, but Clemson scored 13 on them. LSU, or, Florida's offense scored their offense, I think, scored 10. Like, we could go up and down. It's a quality defense they scored 50 on. Florida Gators, the Florida defense, until this week at Kentucky, if there's one thing they were doing, it was defensively they were pretty good. Last week they held Georgia. A&M scored 34 on them. They moved the ball better against. They're moving the ball better against teams than pretty much any team that opponent has played all year. Yeah. And we're in week 10 now. Notre Dame's another example.
Yeah. Notre Dame's
another one.
A&M scored the most points that Notre Dame, LSU, and Missouri have allowed this year, and the second most that Florida and Arkansas have allowed this year.
Yeah, in Arkansas, one of those teams was Notre Dame, who everybody agrees has a great offense. And Florida, it was finally this week.
It was this week.
Basically, when the committee doesn't, but I think they should. I think they should look into this and be like, okay, Florida's quit. They benched their quarterback. They've got an interim coach, but fine, second, first. They're even Missouri. Like, okay, they gashed A&M on like 3 or 4 of those runs. Really 3. I mean, they had a couple other good ones, but 3 of them counted for a huge chunk of that yardage. But I believe Mizzou is still under their rushing average. And I think almost every opponent A&M's played has come in under their rushing average. That is a good. If there's one thing Missouri does well, they run the football, and they also play good defense. And guess what? They gave up 38. And Mizzou, again, who do you want to compare it to? Bama. So you want to talk about Mizzou again? Their backup. You call it third-string quarterback. It's a backup. The starter got hurt in week 1. That guy's been practicing and working with the twos all year, quite literally all season. Same thing as Penn State's guy, second team backup quarterback. But if you want to look at Mizzou and just say, okay, well, then let's just look at their defense, because Ty Simpson's great, right? And Alabama's receivers are great, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking a lot about their offense, right? Well, how many did they score against Missouri? 27?
27-24 win, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's Texas A&M 38. Like, you could do these things if you wanted to, without just saying something like looking at where Indiana leads the country in scoring offense, say, well, obviously their offense is better.
Yeah, you got to look at the company.
I would love to see A&M play Indiana.
Billy,
I would love to see it.
Does it work against A&M? I'm just asking for sports talk radio commentary, but like that we're constantly pointing out what is obvious to us on the biases against A&M, and it's not the first time. It happened in 2020. It happened in basketball. Like, does it work against Texas A&M, or is it, we're just doing the justice that it deserves by pointing it out?
What you're doing, I know what you're doing, and you're not stupid, but it's a stupid question that you felt you needed to ask. So, because I know you think the same thing as me. So, for those that get sensitive, guys, I'm not calling David Nuño stupid. I'm not doing like I'm a coach at a press conference. Who did that recently? Who called it stupid? Bill O'Brien. I'm not Bill O'Briening him here, guys, but I think it's a stupid question that, you're pressured to kind of counterpoint, ask it. Your question, you're kind of feel the need because of certain people to play devil's advocate. And I know you agree with this answer to me. And my answer would be my ass. Like, you can complain when it is right to complain. And if you don't truly believe A&M should have been in that 2020 playoff, then don't complain. If you did, then complain. In this instance, if you don't really care about 2 or 3, don't complain. If you think that there's an issue there and you think they get it wrong, then say it. I mean, everybody. It's not just A&M. Like, every other fan base is going to bitch and moan. Like, everyone's bitching and moaning, and even the media is bitching and moaning about where Notre Dame is as compared to Miami. You don't think Miami fans are complaining? You don't think OU fans are complaining? Watch what happens if a 2-loss Texas Tech gets in above a 3-loss Texas. See what the Longhorn fans do and say. Watch what happens if, there's a million different things. If Ohio State loses somehow to Michigan, then you're going to see both fan bases complain, because Ohio State fans, no matter how little they'll drop, will complain about that. Oh, it's just one game. And then Michigan fans are going to complain because they're going to say they didn't go up enough, because there's going to be some sort of positioning that they're still not where they want to be. So I think, David, we just live where we're exposed to A&M fans. I would never apologize for pointing out the stupidity and lack of logic that these committee-type people use. I would never, ever feel the need to apologize, and it doesn't affect one damn thing. And if it does, then those jackasses shouldn't be on the committee. They shouldn't have jobs doing what they're doing.
I've always felt that they should go back to the computers because computers do not have personal bias, and humans inherently have some personal biases.
Yep. And the ranking, you're right, because the ranking thing, it's just so, I've said it, and I was talking on our podcast with Amanda the other day. I said, welcome to the SEC. You guys were on the other side for so long, and now you're seeing it, because she was saying she watched BYU and Tech. She was like, I was watching it at the same time I was watching, flipping between like the A&M Missouri highlights and the BYU Tech, and she said it looked like slow motion. And I go, yeah, and they're doing that every week. And that's you're not even going to watch when Tech plays West Virginia and UCF to end the season. And it's just, you're watching all this. Cincinnati's in peak contention over here in the Big 12. They couldn't even beat Nebraska. It was a great game, but it's a different thing. But they're not holding it to that standard. And it's what I said for so long. These Big 12 teams can go on winning streaks, while SEC teams, you might go 2-2 in the SEC, and the Big 12, they just coast to a 4-0 record over 4 weeks. And if you really look at who they played, they could play the 4 worst teams in college football, and it wouldn't matter, because once you're ranked at a certain spot, you don't really move down. You just don't. You might maybe a spot or so, but you generally just climb up, because the teams that lose in front of you, those SEC teams, those Big Ten teams, they are just willy-nilly dropped to whatever point, a panel of voters or a committee decides to drop them to.
To your point about
you said, Owen, if you're using more computer, then that doesn't happen.
Yeah. But then to your point about the difference in the caliber of play, who beat Texas Tech? If you don't know, I'll tell you. Arizona State.
Who lost to Mississippi State.
There you go. Which is, people
Texas
are saying
Tech,
they're a bottom feeder in the SEC.
Yeah. In Texas Tech, people go, well, we had our backup quarterback. Well, when the backup quarterback came in and beat Utah, I read it. I saw it. All you talked about said you had the best quarterback room in the country, and now the backup was probably better. I mean, look out now. Now we've unleashed the backup. It's on now. This guy's been lying in wait. Now we've unleashed him. Now we're really rolling. And by the way, he did play better in that game than Baron Morton did.
Billy, you've seen those doomsday scenarios with a bunch of teams from the SEC at 10-2 potentially, or 11-1, 12-0, with a bunch of teams in that. What do you think is the max amount of SEC teams that actually will make the playoffs?
I think it's 5. I don't think it's 6.
Who are they?
Who
are the 5 that you think it'll be?
Well, first of all, let's say this. if Texas wins out, and OU wins out, you're probably going to have Bama at 11-1 or 10-2, A&M at 10-2. Oh, and if Vandy beats Tennessee, you'll have Vandy at 10-2, A&M at 10-2, Texas at 10-2.
This if A&M loses to South Carolina.
Yeah, he's saying this is a worst case scenario.
Yeah. Okay.
Georgia at 11-1 or 10-2, Bama at 11-1 or 10-2, and who else is? Oh, Ole Miss. Like, you could have 7, and that's not crazy for Texas to win, against Georgia and A&M, and I don't think they will, but that's not crazy. And OU to beat Bama, really, because they're playing LSU and Missouri after that, and Vandy to beat Tennessee. Like, it's not a crazy scenario, right? Like, so this weekend is going to be really interesting because if Georgia and Bama hold serve at home, then it becomes, it eliminates Texas and OU from that 10 win. Now, Texas, I think, would still have a playoff look. Who I think is going to make it, I think ultimately it's going to be A&M, Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia. And then that 5th team. So what I'm doing here is I'm giving A&M a win in Austin. Okay.
All right.
Because I think a 9-3 Texas team might get in over a 10-2 Vandy.
So you got Texas beating Georgia.
No. I'm saying if Texas beat A&M, I think they can get in. So I got Texas losing to A&M and being 8-4.
Okay, so then they're out.
And I've got my 5th team being Vandy, winning at Tennessee, with the way Pavia's been playing.
That's why I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy,
did I leave somebody out? Is there anybody else in the discussion?
Not really. It's Oklahoma. If they beat Alabama, maybe
and that's possible.
They did it last year. Yeah,
no, but I'm saying if Bama and Georgia held serve, so that's what I'm going with there. Yeah. Although I was talking to Staples earlier today, and we were like, I personally don't think Bama's great, and I think that Auburn game's always crazy anyway, and if they really have found some offense, that game's intriguing too. And I think Bama's going to have their hands full with OU. I don't like OU's offense at all, but I think OU's defense can negate Bama's biggest strength, which is Ty Simpson in that passing game.
What if Alabama loses to Oklahoma and Auburn and finishes 9-3?
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't either.
I don't think that'd be the craziest thing I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not.
Is Alabama in at 9-3?
Again. No, I don't think so. Not if they lose their last 2 and lost that, and they have that Florida State loss as well. What would be crazy would be if Texas beat Georgia, lost to A&M. You had a 9-3 Texas and 9-3 Bama. Both of them beat Georgia. One of them beat OU. One of them lost to OU. One of them lost to Florida. One of them lost to Florida State. A wild scenario right there. And I think actually Texas would go because I think Bama losing back-to-back games would drop them pretty considerably.
Billy, last thing for you. If A&M were fortunate enough to get to the SEC championship game, who do you think is the best matchup for A&M?
I never would think you'd say this. I don't know. This guy's driving by on the slowest scooter. He's way too big to be on it. That looked like Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels and Dumb and Dumber, except it was just one guy on it. I would say he looked like those twins in the Guinness Book of World Records riding the scooters. I would say, I guess all of a sudden we're just going to sit here with the loudest vehicles in the world. I apologize, guys. I'm on, I guess, the street corner with the loudest vehicles on earth driving by. But
Aaron Torres.
Like, have you ever heard of a functioning muffler? Listen to this guy. Okay, I'm sorry. Nothing angers me more. I think those people should be thrown in jail for like 10 days. You drive with your car like that. Now that we go back to whatever the hell we were talking about. What was that?
The better matchup for A&M if A&M makes it to the SEC championship game from the teams that are
Wouldn't
potentially.
think I'd say this. Yeah, delay, man. I wouldn't think I'd say this. But by the way, Dalton said the delay is wild today. So you might want to get somebody at KZNE to come in and try to fix something for once. With that said, I'm on one today, am I not?
Yeah, you are.
You got me really set off with this committee thing. With all that said, I is it crazy for me to say that I don't mind both matchups or either matchup? Like, I don't think either one of them is that bad for A&M.
Bama, Ole Miss, or Georgia?
Personally,
Georgia's defense is pretty suspect, and I don't, I'll take A&M's. I'll take my chances against A&M. So to me, Georgia's defense is really suspect. They don't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Their secondary is questionable. I think Craver and Concepcion and Reed would have a field day, and then on the flip, but Georgia does run the football. They're starting to look like they're running it pretty damn good. And then on the flip side, Bama, I don't like their own line. I don't think they run the ball well. I think they'd stop the run, the Aggies would, and put a ton of pressure on Ty Simpson. It might be Bama, honestly. It might be Bama, and I know Bama beat Georgia, but I feel like Georgia might have something starting to cook a little bit.
Billy, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Enjoy the highway.
Well, I'm going to wait 5 seconds and reply to you, and then I'm going to say, thank you, David.
3,
thank you, OB.
2.
Delay.
Goodbye. Thank you, Billy. Billy Liucci on the Buppy's Catering Bartending Hotline. We're going to hit a break here, and OB is going to move off. How long is that Shane Beamer bite, Nick? Is it?
I got it for 39 seconds. I kind of shortened it up a little bit.
All right, let's listen to it because I want OB here for it because he's the one who brought it to my attention. Okay. So I didn't know that I upset Shane Beamer. So here's me upsetting Shane Beamer.
And before you get to Hail 2, somebody sent me this thing on social media last night that some A&M guy is taking my comments in the press conference last year about our fans were a true 12th man as like some sort of shot at Texas A&M. So one, if you're the Texas A&M site that put that out last night, somebody sent it to me. You're really reaching if you need to find this to motivate the Aggies to come play Saturday in College Station. By no means was that any kind of criticism when I said 30 minutes or 20 minutes after the A&M game last year that our fans that night in Williams-Brice were a true 12th man. If anything, that was a compliment to the Aggie fans.
Well, first off, I appreciate your apology. And I don't think I took it out of context. I think you used 12th man for a reason, but all good. I think that was a valid response. How about that? You agreed with him yesterday.
I said that I think he's just finding a way to thank his fans for their support.
Both things can be true. How about that?
I don't think both things are true. But
Bronny agrees with me, which means that I am on the wrong side. I already recognize that.
But I think that I think it's also comical that he responded.
Yeah. By the way, clip this. Shane, I kind of like you.
I like your dad, Shane.
Do you think it's possible that nobody sent that to him, that he just watches the show?
No,
I think he watches the show.
I think somebody sent it to him. I know how all
I'm taking it out of context.
College football fans are crazy, and I love you for it.
South Carolina fans, thank you. Appreciate you watching the show and supporting this channel. And the live show, you can watch it in its entirety. Thank you. All right, let's hit a break. Thank you, OB. We are talking about Tesla. I like Tesla. All right, so if you want to elevate your game day experience at the Tesla Motors Tailgate of the Future, hosted right here at TexAgs, right across the street from Caulfield's. When you go there, you'll want to come here. You can discover the Tesla lineup on display from the refined Model S, the versatile Model 3, and the Model Y, and the innovative Model X and groundbreaking Cybertruck. Explore cutting-edge technology, instant torque, and sustainable performance up close. You can enjoy exclusive giveaways and exciting prizes throughout the event. Capture the moment with interactive displays and learn how Tesla is accelerating the transition to sustainable abundance. Join us in that celebration. It is Tesla Motors. We'll see you at the Tailgate of the Future right here at TexAgs. I got to thank the staff over at Bryan Broadcasting for being so accommodating and not complaining at all when we're trying to do the best show possible for the TexAgs fans and listeners of this show. You know, we're our own enterprise, but we look at them as such great partners, and I appreciate Riley doing everything she could to make that happen. So thank you, Riley, and I guess other people too. Let's continue talking here on TexAgs Live, a little football, shall we? And we go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending, a guy who does not complain at all about anything, even when we go long or short. It is Max Wright. Max, welcome back to the program. What's up, buddy?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm well, man. So I don't even know where I want to start with this. It's just like there's so many things. By the time Wednesday comes around, Wednesday, I should say, we've got new rankings, same rankings. We've got a football team that just seems to be, you know, ascending. Like, just where are you with everything that has happened from the Missouri game to now?
Man, great question. That's a lot to cover.
I'm just saying, like, the vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, vibes. Yeah, the vibes are great. Man, it's been really fun. Obviously, it's the first time that our team's been 9-0 since '92, and obviously, I never got to experience a 9-0 start, and it's a feeling that's exciting, and I know that locker room is pumped up for the opportunity. You know, looking at the rest of the schedule to finish out strong. You know, I think the vibes right now, for me personally, are I'm kind of glad that they're kind of keeping us where we're at in the rankings. I think it's given the team a little bit of motivation and kind of keeping them hungry to continue to prove the nation wrong. I was honestly hoping that, you know, we didn't get bumped to that number 2 spot. I want our guys to be out there with a chip on their shoulder, and I know that the leaders in that locker room right now are seeing this as disrespect. And when you have a team that feels disrespected, they're going to come out in a week like this against South Carolina and look to put a team in the ground. And that's what I want to see, you know, from this team moving forward. They've obviously been playing great football up to this point, and I feel like we've been playing really balanced and complementary football. And these next 2 games are opportunities to, you know, showcase, hey, we're a dominant football team who can go out and win games that we're supposed to win handily, and put ourselves in a situation to roll into that last game of the season at 11-0, and looking at, you know, first 12-0 season that I can remember in a really long time. I don't know how long it's been since we've done that. But this is a great opportunity. I know that the guys are really excited for it. I've been texting with Trey Zune and some of those guys, and they're pumped for the opportunity. And I think they're looking at it with a grinding mentality that this is just the next part of the season. You can't look at the past and what you've done and think, man, we've done all these great things to get here. You know, we're a top 3 team. This is all, you know, flowers and roses. Now, this game this weekend can find a way to sneak up on you. You know, South Carolina's coming off a bye. You know, it's an 11 a.m. game. Weird things happen at 11 a.m. games, and I think they need to come out hot as if this is playing against another top 25 opponent. Records don't matter. It's November. You've got to finish out this year strong. So I'm pumped up to see how we finish it out moving forward.
You know what makes this season kind of even more fun to me is, I don't know, it's like picking a favorite child, favorite moment. Sometimes you have remember that one play? That was great. This year, I mean, obviously the Nate Borkature game-winning catch against Notre Dame is the play, but you can do Dalton Brooks A, Dalton Brooks B. You can do Damian Sanford. You can do Cassius back-to-back-to-back. You can do Cassius any game you want. Like, there's so many moments this year that when they make the Heritage Films documentary of the season, and we look back at hopefully a championship season, SEC championship, national championship, hopefully, right? Like, there's going to be so many moments to pick from, Max.
Yeah, I 100% agree. You know, obviously the Borkature catch for me hits a little close to home. I love seeing my tight ends, you know, having success, especially in a situation like that. But I think you're right. I think that there's bits and pieces of things that happen throughout the season. I mean, even the Elko throwing the chair incident, you know, that's something that for me, I mean, that's the tone that Elko sets. So that's what this, you know, season's been. It's we're not here to mess around. You make mistakes, you're going to lose football games, and our team's responded. Ever since that chair throwing incident, our team has responded to everything. So that's a, you know, a thing for me that I love looking back on and thinking about. But I mean, yeah, there's big plays that have happened throughout this entire season. But man, there's also just such a level of consistency that these guys have played with. You know, where it's not just 1 or 2 plays here and there. It's just like you said. I mean, there are significant moments that have set this season to, you know, to where it's gotten to. And it's been really a fun thing to watch, and it's a new breed of football that Elko is really solidifying as a part of this program. Is we're going to play consistent football at a high level, and ultimately that's what you have to have if you want to be in the conversation and win national championships. So yeah, I love all those moments. I mean, we could have a talk show for another 30 minutes just talking about all the big plays throughout this past season. But yeah, I'm really, really proud of how these guys have played and the memories that they've made up to this point. I'm excited to see them even make some bigger memories in the next 3 weeks.
So on Tuesday, I did some undercover awards. I think it was Tuesday, and I gave the undercover, sneaky, really good game to the tight ends. And the reason I did that was there's a couple blocks. Theo had an amazing block, I believe, on one of the big runs. Maybe it was the Ruben Owens big run. There was a great block there, right? And then I felt like the middle of the field, the way they got open, and when they spread out exactly what was happening, it would open up whichever tight end was out there. And I think it was Nate and it was Theo, and I think Amari had a catch as well. Like, they weren't big numbers, but they were very effective plays.
Absolutely. I touched on that in the article. Man, that was my silent MVP of the week. Whenever you talk about teams, position groups that had an impact, when you look at playing against a team like Missouri, I could tell that early in the start, Coach Klein wanted to spread out their defense. They were looking to pack the box, trying to hammer us in the run game, obviously knowing that that's a strong part of our offense. And Coach Klein immediately responded with spreading out their defense, throwing those quick wide receiver screens, getting the ball on the perimeter, and then to complement that, then finding their tight ends who are getting into space over the middle in those hook spots. I mean, the way that they were a threat in the passing game, and then also actually having significant blocks in the run game as well against a really good defensive front. I mean, that's the way that you win football games. There were a few blocks, specifically Borkacher's block on E.J. Smith's touchdown run that he had, where he came in motion across the field and hammered an edge defender that opened up a hole for E.J. to ultimately split it for a touchdown. And then Theo's slice block that I was proud of him to see him do that and play it with physicality. I've always poked at Theo. He's from Sweden, so he's had to learn how to be a physical football player. And man, it's been awesome to see him step up to just approach the game the way that he has and play with a little bit of a hard head mentality now. He's not afraid to put his face into stuff. And that's what it takes to be a successful football team and to have a good group of tight ends. And just like you said, Amari getting in the mix too. I mean, this group in that entire game, I think if you go back and watch it, they'd be one of the highest graded rooms throughout this game because they played consistently and they didn't have mental errors that you could notice and see. And I saw them finding ways, no matter what the play was or the play call was, if it wasn't to them, still being threats and ultimately opening up other guys on the field. That's sometimes what the tight end role is. It's not the most glorified position. You're not going to be the guy who always gets, the big plays. But if you can create stress for defenses and how you're used, that's how you really help teams win offensively. So yeah, I was so proud of that unit. I think that they played one of their best complete games as a unit this past weekend. It was fun to watch.
Max, last thing for you. Got about a minute here. When you think about the revenge games, right, from last year, you got the Auburn game, you got revenge there. All right, you got the Notre Dame revenge. You got two left. Let's focus on the South Carolina one. How important do you think it is for those guys in that locker room, considering that's where the downward trend started?
Mm-hmm. It's a statement game. It's revenge, of course, but I think a statement game too. That you look at what South Carolina is and how this game always kind of turns out. It's always kind of a close matchup, similar to kind of Arkansas is. It can find a way to sneak up on you if you don't handle it right. And I think, you look at that game last year with the injury to Le'Veon Moss and some bad blood being there too with how that ended up and some of the things that were put out about that injury. I expect this team to come out and want to punch these guys in the mouth. And that's how I would approach it. I would approach it as, all right, it's time to go out there and try and stomp these guys. And that's how you approach every single week. And I'm kind of excited that there's a little bit of bad blood there because games like this, 11 a.m.s, like I said earlier, can sneak up on you. And whenever you have a level of intensity to go out and kind of prove the nation wrong and maybe shut up some people who've been waiting for the Aggies to have their November fallout, I mean, that's where you can have teams who come out and ultimately put teams away. So this is a great opportunity this weekend, again, to continue on the momentum that they're building and set you up to finish out the year in a historic way for the Aggies. And I know Elko, the leaders, Torian York, Trey Zune, all those guys are setting that standard with practice number 1 and number 2, obviously, and number 3 this week now, with it being Wednesday. a great opportunity. I'm pumped to see how they handle it, and I'm excited to see the Aggies get a win on Saturday.
Thank you, Max. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em. Max right here on TexAgs Live. Appreciate his time on the Buppy's Catering Bartending Hotline. When we come back, Brooks Austin, the film guy, he's talking really, really good about that A&M defense. Right now, we're talking Heritage Films. I tried to make a comparison, not a comparison, but I tried to think of what Chance McClain would do when he did the documentary for the A&M season, right? Whatever that season looks like, Chance and his team would do an amazing job of a documentary. You know, he'd highlight the good points, maybe some challenges throughout the year, and hopefully the climax is some kind of, you know, championship, right? That's what he would do for that. But he does that for people's families. He does those same kind of documentaries for your grandfather, your uncle, your nephew. I think the nephew can wait a little bit for his. But whatever, you can do a documentary for anything. He does the year flicks, which is maybe more for the nephew, these 20-minute Q&As. He does the farm and ranch films where he tells a story about your farm and ranch, and he does it in this documentary form. Again, he's a storyteller, and he's a documentarian. He's the best. Check out his website, yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com, or call him up, 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films. All right, my guy's blowing up, and I think Aggies love his content, by the way, because he just tells you how it is. Brooks Austin, the film guy, joining us on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. If he thinks something's not good, he'll tell you it's not good, and he'll explain. He'll go to his monitor and show you why it's not good. And if something's great, he'll tell you why it's great. Brooks, what's up, buddy?
I'm chilling, Nuño. I think that's the best way to explain why the fan bases that love our content. They want to know the why. There are some football fans in this world. It's a lot more than you would imagine. There's a lot of football people that wear the logo that just watch them on Saturdays. If they win, they're happy. If they lose, they're sad. They end that feeling on Saturday night and wake up Sunday morning, and then they keep it pushing the rest of the week. Those necessarily aren't the people that are going to find my channel and absolutely love my channel. The people that love my channel are the people that are obsessed with the why. Why is my team finally getting over humps? Why are we going out here beating the heck up out of LSU in the second half? Why are we doubling down the next week and traveling on the road and absolutely manhandling Missouri in the fashion that we're supposed to? Why? Those are the people that we answer questions for. You hit the nail on the head.
Well, I watched your video on how A&M's defense continues to create insane havoc. And something you said in the first part of the video is something Olin and I talked about earlier this week, is that it was a handful of plays by Missouri that made those rushing numbers look the way they looked, right? It was 2, 3, 4 plays that were really the bulk of that offense. So just kind of give us, and I want people to click on the video and watch it still, but just give us your thoughts on, A, why the defense or how the defense is creating the havoc, and maybe those plays in particular, what you think happened.
Yeah, so first, what tipped me off on what I thought was ultimately going to happen was Drinkowitz's post-game press conference. Like, if you listen to the clips that came out of that, he sounded like an offensive coordinator and an offensive football coach. I don't know if he still calls plays, but he doesn't anymore. A guy involved with offense, heavily involved with offense, that sounded bamboozled and beaten in a game of chess in the pressures, right? How you were getting after the quarterback. I mean, the biggest play in that football game is the strip sack that ends up in an interception fumble recovery that damn near goes for a touchdown. All of those plays, all of those pivotal plays, when you finally got them into several 3rd and longs where Matt Zollers has to now drop back and throw the football. First of all, you played man-to-man coverage because y'all believe in your corners out there at A&M. I'm not saying you play every game in bump and run man-to-man, but when you think you can cover, you cover and you pressure the quarterback, and you pressure it really, really uniquely. You don't just throw guys at the box. You manipulate and really figure out what the offensive line structurally is doing. And every pass protection has a weak link. There is something in there that we can attack. Whether we got 3 guys sliding this way and 2 guys sliding this way, and now the vulnerability of the protections down the middle. Well, if that is the case, A&M throws multiple bodies at the vulnerability every single time when they pressure. It got to a point I'm watching, I'm like, dude, I know Elko's like a lifetime defensive guy, but this dude must have spent some time coaching offensive line or something, because he clearly has protections down to a T. He knows what their principles are. Nope, he's a lifer on defense. Hell, he played DB at Penn. Not to body shape. I was surprised to find out Mike Elko was a DB in college. But I was more surprised to know how this is the only defensive coordinator I've watched recently that's like clearly hunting the principles of each given pass protection. I was blown away.
Well, and I'm glad you brought up the chess piece, because it seems like not only on the defense, but the flow of the game, calling that fake punt took some real stones. Had it not worked, it would have been a disaster, but it was the right timing, it was the right play call, and it flipped that momentum right back to A&M as Missouri was starting to capture some of it.
Yeah, I mean, they've done this really all year. I mean, you guys watch them a whole hell of a lot closer than I do, but every time I watch them, I feel like they play some version of complementary football. Whether it's the offense picking up the defense, whether it's the defense picking up the offense. This time it was the special teams providing a spark to pick them both up. That's what, and I'm not saying they're going to do this, but I've been talking about it on our show. There are certain things in these builds, right? These builds to a title. There are certain things where the championship DNA and the championship ingredients, right? The special stuff required to win in January, those things show themselves long before they bring a championship result. The actual winning, like what it takes to consistently, year in, year out, keep getting shots at the door and eventually bust it down. There are several of those on this A&M season arc right now, like last week or 2 weeks ago against LSU, where, dude, there's 2 turnovers and just a chopped possession in the middle of that road game. Like, it's tight. It's a 1-score ball game. Marcel Reed throws an interception in the red zone. The next possession, I think y'all throw another interception. And then there's a possession in there where there's a fumble in your own end. Now it's 2nd and 26. You might as well punt it. Like, there are 3 possessions in a row where y'all are not very good. And then I think y'all scored 36 unanswered on the road in LSU in Death Valley. And then again, I know it's a backup quarterback this week against Matt Zollers in that unit, but I felt like y'all manhandled that football team. They had like 280 yards of total offense, and most of it came on like 5 plays. The rest of it was just 2 yards in a cloud of dust. Come get you some of this A&M defense. I think they're showing a lot of stuff that I love as in terms of an analyst looking for teams without a lot of flaws.
You mentioned you were surprised of Elko being a safety. Would you be surprised by his playlist? Have you seen his choice for playlist online? Have you seen this?
No. Hit me.
I'm going to tell you some of this. Meek Mill, Jay-Z,
okay,
Jeezy, and Kanye. Eminem.
All right, so no, this doesn't surprise me, Nuño, because, I mean, let's be honest, this is a guy that spent his last 30 adult years in a defensive locker room.
Right.
All right. The White Boy Wednesday on the playlist only happens because offensive linemen got the ox. It don't happen when the defensive lineman got the ox. So no, that doesn't surprise me. This is a man who has morphed into those around him, I would imagine. It's a relatability play right there by Elko. That's good stuff right there. That's a relationships builder tendency right there.
Mike and I are from the same era, same time. We're about the same age. So, yes, that playlist would be on my playlist as well. Brooks, let's kind of look at some narratives out there, okay? So, A&M beats Missouri with the backup quarterback and Zollers, okay? And I know you have a good rant about that. Indiana beats Penn State with a backup quarterback. One game comes down to a final drive, and it was beautiful. Fernando deserves all the props he's getting. Had a kind of a rough game to that point, but deserves all the props. A&M goes and wins by 21 after that same quarterback the week prior looked really good against a Vanderbilt defense that I've been told is pretty good. So we get these narratives out there with this college football playoff rankings, and A&M is 3, and I'm actually kind of fine with 3 right now, but I just don't like the reasons they give. Well, they beat a backup here, and Indiana, look at that, what they did. So just get with that information. What do you think?
Before I do this to you, just know that I think you're legit. I think you're the best team in the SEC right now. I think you are deserving of everything that is coming to you, and you've got a lot of work still left to do. Go beat Texas, and you'll shut all this stuff up like it does not matter. But from an outsider's perspective, this is what people are doing to y'all. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. And again, I love you, Texas A&M fans. I love the Chance movement. I love Marcel Reed. But this is what the outside is doing to you. Didn't dominate UTSA, didn't dominate Utah State, beat a weak Game 3 CJ Carr. That's a better Notre Dame team. Maybe they get you now. Again, this is what other people are doing to you. Then you beat the bottom of the bottom in the SEC, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, and Arkansas. And then you beat a shell of themselves in LSU. Granted, you dominated them and broke that football program. But the rest of the outside world looks at them and says, that's not LSU. That's not the regular LSU. And then you beat a backup quarterback. That's what everyone on the outside is doing to you guys that doesn't watch you every single week. And let's be honest, I don't think them folks that are voting on this right now are dialed in 48 minutes or 60 minutes to what A&M football's got going on. So I think that's what's happening right now from an outsider's perspective viewpoint against what A&M's got going on. But what I look at is a team that if you really, really watch them, like people think that Arkansas game was close. I do not think that Arkansas game was close because I watched that Arkansas game. I thought that was garbage score late. That's what I thought that was. I thought that was conceding points because we know the clock situation. So just like I know the context, and the SEC fans know the context of the Florida-Georgia game. That game was 34-20. That game was not 24-20. That game was 31-20. It should have been a late score by Gunner, but it takes a knee inside the red zone and runs the clock out. These context things matter, but I don't think they get provided in those rooms.
Brooks, amazing stuff, man. Thanks so much for your time, brother.
No doubt. Be good.
Take care. Go check out his site on YouTube. It's fantastic. He's got great work, so appreciate him. We had a break. I apologize to Kaylee. It's going to be the shortest Around Aggieland today. At least today is going to be the shortest one. Insurance decisions shouldn't be made in 15 minutes. And when insurance matters most, who's going to answer your call? Boom and Boom. That's Rollo Insurance. They where you get a personal agent's phone number. You call them. They'll know your situation. If you're looking for your home insurance, your car insurance, your ranch insurance. I'm just grabbing at things in the air like you could grab these types of insurances. But if you need that, they got you. And they're fantastic. Morgan's my guy. We talk all the time. He's become a friend. And it's, because the Rollo agents there care about your life. They care about your kids. They care about what you're into. They care about Aggie sports. They're here in the College Station. And Brian, you got to go check them out. Call them up at 888-44-ROLLO. That number again is 888-44-ROLLO, or visit their website, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. And we're back. It is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. It's time for a minute version of Around Aggieland with my dear friend, Kaylee Dreyer. Kaylee, hello.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm well, thank you. Doing
My
very
voice.
well.
Okay, so to starting out with volleyball, Maddie Walk was named SEC Setter of the Week for the second time this season after they swept Auburn this past weekend. This win marked their 20th on the season and 12th in the SEC. The number 6 Aggie volleyball team will take on the Florida Gators tonight in Gainesville. and close out the regular season at home against Georgia. And moving on to some football accolades. From the Missouri game, Damian Sanford earned SEC Defensive Player of the Week, and Cassius Howell earned SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. This is the 6th time Texas A&M has won the Defensive Line Weekly honor and the 4th for Cassius this season. The Aggies are now 6-0 in the SEC for the first time since joining the conference in 2012 and will return home to take on South Carolina this Saturday at 11 a.m.
You did it. You knocked it out.
Made it quick.
Did you have other ones to get into?
Yeah, just Aggie women's basketball winning their season opener.
They did do that. Thank you. Sorry if it was so short.
That's okay.
When we come back, Ryan Brauninger, who I believe Shane Beamer's going after. I don't think it's me. I think it's Bronny. That's next on TexAgs Live. Hey friends, welcome back into TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and it is time for one of my favorite segments of the week, at least in the top 50, Recruiting Country, presented by American Momentum Bank. And American Momentum Bank is the only privately owned headquartered in Bryan, College Station, and they are committed to helping our community prosper by offering a wide variety of personal and business banking solutions specifically designed to help build financial success with confidence and momentum on your side. Ryan Brauninger, hello.
Good morning. You look sharp.
Thank you, sir.
I like that
Appreciate
shirt and
that.
pants combination.
Thank you.
New haircut. You look sharp.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
And then, top 50, better than bottom 50.
I have so many segments.
Right.
And if you think about all the NIL stuff that I do and you do and all the no layups, when you're on, you're definitely in the top 50. I'd say maybe top 30.
Better than the bottom 30.
You know what?
Like,
I've decided. I've changed my mind. You're in the top 12, like the 12th man.
Well, could you explain why I may or may not be moving ahead of other segments with some sensical arguments?
Sure.
That would prove that you have at least watched this segment and the other, let's say 8 or 9 segments that I've done this year?
Yeah, I will say that the reason that you have moved up to the top 12 is because of the banter that we have, the friendly banter.
Okay, but I'm trying to ask, why didn't I move in front of the Go Hour? What has the Go Hour done?
Because I believe Olin brings out the best of David Nuño. That's why.
I'm not going to argue that. That makes more sense than the committee was able to spit out in regards to why Indiana is ranked ahead of A&M. That's what I was trying to meld that together.
Do you think, this is not about that, by the way, do you think that Shane Beamer is actually talking about you and not me? You don't know what we're talking about?
I got it sent to me. I probably both of us, because he just mentioned the site.
Right.
I was the one that tweeted the video I never said that he
never complained.
I just said, hey, let me jog your memory.
Yeah.
He did say this after A&M lost at South Carolina this year. He did call them a true 12th man, and then you look at the expression on his face when he said that.
Right.
Yesterday, look, where I'm from, we call that crawfishing, what he did in front of the microphone yesterday, is he tried to walk it back, and he tried to say that he actually meant it as a sign of respect toward the A&M fans. And then, oddly enough, he talked for about 90 seconds about how much he loved playing at Texas A&M, with 60 seconds of those 90 talking about horse crap. So it didn't seem real genuine to me. I thought that was interesting. He's like, man, I love playing at A&M, and then talked for 90 seconds or 60 seconds about how the horses walk around this place and crap all over it. He said, I think that's cool. He just kept going back to that. Whatever. I don't know Shane Beamer at all. He could be a great human being. He could be a great father, a great husband, all that. I hope he is. I just know that he has rubbed me the wrong way from afar with how he handles himself, not only in press conferences, but also like his just interactions with the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not for me. And it may be for a lot of South Carolina fans, and he may be, again, not making any kind of commentary about him as a human. He just has, there's been some times where I'm like, man, I just wish he wouldn't do that.
I like him, but I'm starting to not like him. Not because of what he said. I thought actually that was kind of cool. What I liked about him was he felt like a fresh new coach, and it was kind of like,
Oh, he's definitely not going to give you coach speak all the time. He's going to give you real authentic answers. I'm not arguing with any of that. And I think that how he acts on the sideline and how he interacts with the game of football and his players and the referees and all that stuff, I do think that's a genuine, he's not putting on a bit. So there's something to be said for that. But that's not how, I watch Mike Elko coach, and he doesn't interact that way. And I really like watching a coach interact with the game that way. And there are coaches that I know, whether it be in travel baseball, college baseball, high school football, I know that I wouldn't probably be friends with them off the field, but I really respect how they do it on the field.
Sure.
And probably there's just like that, the inverse is probably true as well, where I don't like watching how some coaches interact with the game or their mannerisms and body language on the sideline, but they're probably great human beings that I could be friends with off the field.
I wonder, could we be friends with Nick Saban? I think I could be really good friends with Nick.
The age gap might be an issue.
No, but I'm just saying, I used to have this opinion of him because he was the Alabama coach that was dominating, right? It's kind of like the same thing that happened with Kobe, by the way, with me. And now with just a year, I look back and I love people who are process driven. And that's what he is. And by the way, Mike Elko is process driven.
And you look at process driven can manifest itself in so many different ways. And you look at, the most notable one for A&M fans is look how Tony Vitello went from villain to hero almost at the snap of fingers. And everybody you talk to about Vitello, they'll tell you, yeah, he's animated, he gets after it, and he coaches his kids hard, but all of his players love playing for him. So where I look at him like, man, I wouldn't act that way if I were coaching. I wouldn't be that rambunctious and that flamboyant with some of my actions and that demonstrative toward umpires or whatever to opposing players. But he wins and his players love him. So there's something very respectable about that.
Yeah. All right, we should probably turn to recruiting.
Yeah, we got
a lot to get into. And you and I were talking, I think you were working on your article whenever you brought it up to me. Maybe you had already finished it, but you were working on talking about the success rate of the portal. And sometimes you can look at it from the very beginning and know, and sometimes just kind of going back to the process, let it play out and see what happens.
Well, when A&M plays, especially LSU, and you start looking at some of the names being called on the LSU side or not being called on the LSU side. And I started with Nick Anderson had a ball that was thrown to him at the sideline, and then it comes out the following week that he's going to miss the remainder of the season with a knee issue. And I can just remember the angst that him choosing LSU over A&M caused a lot of the A&M fan base. And look, you have to put it into context in terms of the timeline. And A&M was coming off limping to the finish line. The bowl game did not inspire a lot of confidence from the A&M fans, even though if you looked at the totality of the season, you're like, man, they made strides forward. It didn't result in wins, but process-oriented, process-driven, not results-driven. And Mike Elko, you mentioned that is how he coaches, and that's also how he attacked the transfer portal last year. So he didn't become victim of the moment and feel the pressure that, man, we just lost, was it 3 out of 4 down the stretch? We need some momentum. I got to go take this kid because it's going to assuage some concerns with the fan base, or it's going to look good nationally. Like, they have their process and they didn't deviate from it. And you go and you look back now, the premise of my article was that everybody's looking forward, and you should, because there's so much work to be done. And one of my favorite things and kind of my favorite mentality that seems to be emanating from this team and this coaching staff right now, whenever they get in front of the podium, is it's the Kobe Bryant, job's not finished. I love that.
Yeah.
They're still looking at it's like we're 9-0, we're number 3 in the country, but you haven't won anything yet. You haven't won a thing. It looks cool, but you haven't done anything yet. So I like their mentality. So everybody's looking forward, and a lot of the A&M fans are, and you should. Like, you should be excited about what's to come starting this Saturday. But I think in order for you to be excited about looking forward, you also need to look back at how they got here and how they are able to put this team on the field and how it's been constructed, how it's been developed, how the culture's been changed. All of that didn't happen game 1 against UTSA. That started happening at the end of last season.
Mm-hmm.
And they went into their scouting and evaluation period of the portal. They looked at it from a financial perspective, because you have to now. And Derek Miller deserves a ton of flowers for what this roster looks like and what the budget for this roster looks like. They did not index on players that did not fit in their mold. And what does their mold look like? Okay, first of all, it's kind of similar to what we've talked about with the high school players. Does this kid possess the traits that we believe can make him successful at the top end of the SEC? If that's a yes, cool. Next question. Does he love football? Does he love football? Not the stuff surrounding football. Does he love football?
The actual game.
If that's a yes, now I think with the transfer portal and maybe even the high school level, you go, all right, does our valuation of this kid match his valuation of himself? And if it doesn't, is there wiggle room for us to get close? If there's no budging, or X and Y team are going to be prepared to pay him, 6 figures more than what we're willing to pay, then we have, this is part of our process. We believe in our process. We have to move on from this kid. Now, I think maybe once or twice you bump that allocation up a little bit for a couple of players. Maybe you had to do it for KC Concepcion with Bama trying to move in, and that looked like a good investment, correct?
Yeah.
Look how much that's paying off now. So if you are going to overpay or feel the need to overpay, you better be doing it on the right guy. And when you look around the SEC and you look at what the perceived misses were in the last transfer portal recruiting cycle, you have to look at what A&M got instead of those guys and go, wow, they really know what they're doing. They stuck to their guns. Like I said, they didn't deviate away from their plan, and they got players that fit a role and a necessity on this team, but also fit in with the culture of the locker room and the culture that Mike Elko is trying to continue to improve. And it's going the right way because of guys like Marcel Reed and because of guys like Torian York. I love the way Ruben Owens is interacting with, you watch Ruben Owens, the joy that's coming out with him playing football. Like, I think that's good. And when you watch, you have these kids come in here for these NIL interviews, and you ask them about the running back room, for instance, and they talk about like how happy they are for the other guy to score and how pumped they were for Jamari and Morrow to get in the end zone, how excited they are that E.J. Smith is a contributor. And that's culture. That's culture. And now, does winning help that? You daggum right it does.
100%. Yeah.
Daggum right it does. But they've got some real culture pieces that are leading the team, most notably Marcel, and how tremendous of an ambassador has he been for Texas A&M as a university and for his football team. You couldn't have picked a better face. The kid is just knocking every interview he does out of the park. He's a really cerebral, really smart, really well-spoken, and he's got leadership traits that are apparent to people that don't even really know him, and people that don't really know this football team. So you had these pieces on the roster, and I think you went into the offseason knowing, okay, we're going to put a lot on Marcel from an on-field and off-field perspective, but we feel like he can handle it. Same deal with Torian on the other side of the ball. Same deal with Trey Zoon. These guys can handle it. They're wired the right way to handle it. So let's get some pieces that are going to help them. And what did Casey Concepcion do? The first week he got to campus, he started calling everybody and organizing the throwing. And then they have the piece about him cooking for Marcel, and Marcel goes over there, and it's Casey, Marcel, and Ruben sitting in front of a TV eating food that Casey has prepared, and they're watching tape. So, like, the culture of this team is good. So you cannot risk that if you're an evaluator or a staff member at Texas A&M. That has to be at the forefront of your decision. So all that to go back to last portal cycle and say, Nick Anderson came on a visit. A&M wanted Nick Anderson, no question about it. Nick Anderson was coming off a knee injury at Oklahoma that I think if you gave truth serum to some folks, that it concerned them about his future. Didn't saying that he was for sure going to be hampered by it, but it was like, I just don't know. He's a good player, great prospect, will probably play in the NFL if he's healthy. When he goes to LSU, I think he's got 12 catches on the season for just over 100 yards, and now his season's done due to a knee injury. Not celebrating that at all. Pointing it out. Like, I've known Nick since he was in high school at Katy. Great family, super athletic family. His older brother was a running back at Oklahoma. And he's got all the traits to make it to the NFL. But doesn't just stop at Nick Anderson. You know, Jack Pyburn came in here and visited. And from what I understand, they weren't real close on what the valuation of each other were. Interviewee and interviewer were not close on the determination of how much should be allocated toward him. And that's fine. A&M said, okay, like, we think you're a good player, but this doesn't fit our mold. So they let him go to LSU. Who did they get? TJ Searcy, his former teammate. Now, you go look at the stats. Jack Pyburn has 1.5 sacks on the season. TJ Searcy, 1.5 sacks on the season. What did you really lose there?
Right.
And especially if Searcy was going to fit your culture a lot better. Continuing, Jamari Butler from Nebraska. A&M looked at him and said, we like him. Probably would have taken him if they could have gotten on the same page in terms of what the finances were going to look like. LSU came in and blew him out of the water with that. So he goes to LSU. Meanwhile, A&M goes, let's stay in Lincoln. Let's look at this tight end that nobody was talking about when A&M got it. How much fanfare was there around Nate Borkature?
None
when he came to A&M. But you start talking to enough people that know, and they're like, man, Dana Holgorsen really wanted to keep him. They thought that he had a real future in their offense, and he's got NFL measurables and NFL traits, and he comes here. And I mean, Theo's been good too. But Nate has been, right now, he's the author of the biggest play of the season. And is consistently a playmaker every Saturday. And he's great in the run game. He's been great for the culture. You think back to Casey's touchdown catch against Mississippi State, and it's Nate sprinting downfield to help him pull him into the end zone. So we could go example by example. Who can forget the Jalen Braxton situation? Jalen Braxton was the DB at Arkansas who's from Frisco. He comes to Texas A&M on an official visit, tells the coaching staff he's coming, he commits, Mike Elko fires out his tweet, and while he's on campus, interestingly enough, the communication just completely breaks down. They can't really get a hold of him. And 24 hours later, he's out of town and he's committed to signing with Ole Miss. As fishy as that smelt and was, A&M was able to pivot from that. Might end up being a blessing in disguise, correct? They pivot from that, and who do they land? Jordan Shaw. Jordan Shaw and Jalen Braxton have both played 5 games for top 10 ranked teams. They've both missed time due to injury. Jordan Shaw has 1 more tackle, so he's at 12 tackles. Jalen Braxton's got 11. Jordan Shaw has a forced fumble. Jalen Braxton's not been involved in any turnovers. So this staff, this recruiting staff, this coaching staff, they know what they're doing. So you have the benefit of hindsight here as we head into another transfer portal window in early January. There's no reason to get all knotted up about a kid not choosing A&M, a kid who you probably didn't even know anything about prior to him getting into the portal. But on the odd chance that you do, and it's a national profile name like Nick Anderson was, you don't have to sweat it. This staff has earned a massive benefit of the doubt in terms of their evaluation, their development, and how they're going to construct this roster within the parameters that they've built for themselves. They deserve that. They've earned that benefit of the doubt. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy it. I hope you are still as active and in our transfer portal thread, which we went back and looked at it, 4.1 million views over the course of like 50 days. And it was like 17,000 replies. But a lot of that was, there was some consternation when these guys that A&M had brought in on visits, Princewell Uman-Mielen.
That's right.
Had a good visit. Has turned into a good player at Ole Miss. A&M would not take him. There was some real issues, I think, with him and how he would fit here. So A&M pulled the reins back. It was viewed as like this big win for head-to-head win for Ole Miss when A&M was like, fine, go.
Enjoy.
Like Nico DeVilliers was a defensive lineman from Arkansas that went to UCLA. UCLA promised him an incredible amount of money. He's played 0 games. Darmaje Lewis was a defensive tackle from Purdue. His number was astronomical given his experience and what he wanted. SMU met it. He's played in 2 games at SMU. Ethan Onionwa was an offensive tackle from Rice, originally from Cinco Ranch and Katy. Like his number for an offensive tackle, those were at a premium. So you can kind of guess where he was in terms of his NIL valuation for himself. Ohio State did it. Now, they're number 1 team in the country, so you can't really get mad at them, but they did it. A&M chose not to do that. A&M showed real belief with Ethan Onionwa and Isaiah World, who was also another offensive tackle that was at Nevada and went to Oregon. A&M showed real stick-to-your-guns mentality on both of those because the prices were astronomical. A&M let them go. Ethan Onionwa doesn't even start at Ohio State. He's played in all 9 games on field goal.
Wow.
So A&M showed real belief in the guys they had on campus. They showed real belief in Adam Cushing as a developer and teacher of the game, and look how it's paid off. If the season ended today, they'd be the Joe Moore Award winners, I think, or should be. So again, there's so many layers that you keep peeling back that should instill even more confidence and trust in this coaching staff and this recruiting staff going forward. So the portal is going to be a disaster. It's going to be a mess. It just is what it is. Now A&M is on a different side of this thing, though, where their phones are ringing a lot more than they're having to make calls. So all of that evaluation and character determination and all that stuff only is going to ramp up because a lot more people want to come be involved with this. And so A&M is going to say, okay, we'll listen. But if you're coming here, this is the expectation of you in this program. We're not calling you. You're calling us. You're going to act our way. You're going to do this our way if you want to come here. And I think that's an advantageous position to be in, but it took some real guts and some real spine and, again, some stick-to-itiveness to see it through last winter to get to this point this winter.
Not for today, but in the offseason, I think it'd be interesting in this modern era of college football, the transfer portal era, I should say, who is the most impactful transfer across all the sports at A&M? I mean, and
here's a question for the listeners and maybe the people in the YouTube chat. The greatest one-year player in Texas A&M football history, one-year player. Would you choose Robert Ferguson or KC Concepcion?
Let's see how the season finishes out, but I might be going KC right now. And I don't know. I mean, Robert was amazing, though.
He's a dog.
Right, so, like, I can't answer that yet.
I mean, if you I'm not trying not to be prisoner of the moment. And I was obviously, I think I was like 13 or 14 when Robert was playing here. So those memories are a little fuzzy, and these are very clear because it's happening right now. But KC is different level player. Like to me,
So is Robert.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
But you watch Casey play, and I said he's like the demon love child of Christian Kirk and Anais Smith. Like when
You said that early on.
Like the way he runs, like Anais was just an animal, like wouldn't go down, refuses to go down. That's the way he runs, but he is so dangerous and dynamic and can get to space and outrun people like Christian Kirk.
Something to chew on in the offseason for sure. All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back with more. We got to talk about some notable visitors this weekend. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet because they're stocking up on new vehicles all the time. Their inventory is constantly growing, and here's the deal. They are south of those big city prices, no dealer add-ons. What you see is what you pay. They are locally owned. They've got an Aggie alumni team there ready to roll out the red carpet for you. And they have value with every vehicle purchase. When you get a vehicle from there, you're going to get free oil change for life, and that's thousands of dollars of savings over the life of your vehicle as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. And their inventory is moving fast. You want to jump on it right now. Top dollar for trade-in value. Don't wait. Those deals do not last forever. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan, to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign. And they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks is good to be right. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, Recruiting Country, brought to you by American Momentum Bank. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. All right, Bronny, let's talk about some of the visitors coming this weekend. It's
going to be a very interesting list. I will start with some of the in 2026 who we're keeping an eye on. As of right now, we have been given no indication that Lamar Brown is coming.
Okay.
Now, would we, if he was coming, would we get any heads up because as secretive as they're trying to be? Probably, but it wouldn't be until Saturday morning. And then still, I was talking about it yesterday on B Team. Lamar Brown, this thing is so high profile. I very much tend to believe that he's still going to sign with LSU.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing has gotten so high profile that you're not going to hide him once he gets to campus. But they could be keeping the plans still very much hidden from the media and folks nationally. So we have not been given any indication that he is coming. Some guys that are coming committed elsewhere. Braylon Womack, a safety committed to Auburn, 5-star safety, one of the best players in the South. He is coming. Jaden Warren, wide receiver from Iowa Colony, committed to U of H. He's coming on an official visit. I think, obviously, with Warren being a in-state kid, if A&M chooses to hey, this is the final receiver, the final piece we want to add, I think they would have a good chance at flipping him. The argument on the other side is that he's committed to U of H, who has really invested into their high school recruiting, and they're also bringing in the number one quarterback in the state of Texas who's from Houston and has got a good relationship with Jaden. So there are some hurdles to overcome. It's not just as simple as we are going to flip the switch, say we're going on Jaden Warren, and they're going to get him. It's not going to be that easy, at least in my opinion. And then the other one that we're keeping an eye on that's committed elsewhere is KJ Ford. I understand that it has been reported that he is for sure coming. I think he's coming. I would anticipate him coming. Based on the latest intel we got this morning, it's not 100% that he's going to make the trip yet.
Okay.
I think he's going to come. But there was some stuff that got relayed to us this morning that just maybe he's going to have second thoughts about this deal. If you've listened to the show at all, if you've read our updates, you kind of understand where we're at on KJ Ford. If A&M puts the pedal to the metal, I think he's going to be an Aggie. This has been kind of a ongoing back and forth between the two parties
for a long time,
since he committed to Florida. And I think that had A&M decided to make that push in the summer, he would have committed to A&M from the jump. So and to KJ's credit, he's had a really good senior season, really productive on the field for obviously Duncanville, one of the best programs in the state of Texas. Beyond that, in 2026, it's going to be light. So you're looking at Womack, you're looking at Warren, and you're looking at KJ Ford. And then just kind of keeping an eye out for if Lamar Brown decides he wants to get in the car and drive over here. I don't believe that's going to happen as we sit here today. Could it change? Sure. So from there, you start looking at 2027, and A&M has got a real shot at a top 2 class, top 2 or 3 class. They could go all the way to number 1. A lot of their top targets in that class are going to be coming in. Raylon Henry's a corner out of Maryland, out of the Baltimore area. He has an announced commitment date on Saturday, and he's coming to town.
Huh. Look at that.
Interesting how that works.
That's interesting.
Caden McCarty will be here. He's an edge from South Falls. He's got the Cassius Howell starter kit in a high schooler's body. Very similar build, very similar play style, and I think that's why A&M has made a big push for him. He's got a commitment coming up in December, and he's coming back again this weekend. Caden Scott, an offensive lineman out of San Antonio Roosevelt, one of the more tooled up and long-term projectable gifts offensive tackles in the state of Texas. He, Kennedy Brown, Ishmael Kamara, really talented offensive line group and offensive tackle group in the state in 2027. He'll be in town too. And we are going to release the remainder of the list tomorrow morning, like we always do on Thursday. And it will have some notable names on there. Jaquan Snell, a safety out of Waxahachie, is anticipated to be in town. It's another really highly coveted kid. John Meredith, corner out of Euless Trinity. A&M, they are in a prime spot. It is so early, and there's so many things to happen between now and the signing day. I mean, you're essentially talking about 13 months here from the class of 2027 signing. So we're nowhere even close. But again, if you want to take a snapshot of today, they're in an outstanding spot for like 10, 12 of the top 50 players in the country.
Brian, thank you, buddy. Appreciate
Thank
you. Milliken Reserve Time, farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces, and they have a mission to build a healthy community. If you haven't checked out their neighborhoods, they're amazing. They got the creek, homes on 10-plus acre wooded estates, thoughtful expressions of the owner's vision. You've got the Hollow that are a private and gated community directly by the nature trails, and you've got the Meadows, homes that are responsive to their natural surroundings. Milliken Reserve is rooted in Texas soil. And if that sounds like a place for you, check it out at millikenreserve.com, and you can go there and go hiking, biking, canoeing, you name it. It is millikenreserve.com. Again, that website, millikenreserve.com. All right. Love me some Robert Earl Keen right now. Before we get to Peter Burns, I got to talk about the Association of Former Students. If you are looking for a new opportunity, look at the Association of Former Students. They have openings from time to time in fundraising, former student programs, and much, much more. They are the premier alumni association and the oldest organization supporting A&M and part of that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out with Howdy Socials, Aggie Ring Day, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. If you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It's the Association of Former Students. All right, with that, we go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We talk to our friend Peter Burns from the SEC Network. What's up, PB?
Yeah, David, I was just thinking about it. I was on hold. Like, I do about 10, 15 of these a week, and I realized I enjoy this one the most. And it hit me on the commercial break because it reminds me of the days, like, when I hear a commercial for, like, hey, you need something for your hunting lease, like, that makes me smile. Like, thinking about my days in South Texas. And then, just listening to a little Robert Earl Keen, and then all of it talking about Texas high school football, like, that gets me fired up. Like, man, it's a good week to be part of the Aggie media, to say that the least.
Well, PB, I want to talk to you about, like, are you looking forward to, or maybe not, a doomsday scenario? And I'm not looking forward to this because this would mean A&M losing a game that I don't want them to lose. But where you have A&M at 11-1, Ole Miss at 11-1, Texas at 10-2, Oklahoma at 10-2, Alabama at 10-2, Georgia at 10-2, and Vandy at 10-2. What happens then in that doomsday scenario?
I mean, again, I don't even know what I'm eating for lunch here in about 15 minutes. I sure as hell don't know what's happening in probably the most chaotic college football season we've had in a long time. And so, yeah, I mean, that would be fascinating. I mean, it would be great for me and you as we work in media to talk about it. But, yeah, there'd be chaos. And then, because then you start looking at, all right, is the ACC, I mean, are they a one-bid league? I mean, we saw Texas Tech just absolutely destroy and manhandle BYU. I don't see BYU getting that much better in being able to address that. So, is the Big 12 a one-team league or bid league? What happens if Notre Dame falls to Pitt? I think that's fascinating. So, I mean, there's a distinct chance we're talking about at least, we definitely are going to get 4 in from the SEC, maybe 5, potentially 6, which is wild. But to think that we're sitting here and it's the Aggies that are undefeated, like, you and I have had these conversations for years, and how Aggies feel probably is like how I felt as an LSU fan in 2003, where you're like kind of waiting for a shoe to drop, and then at some point you just realize, like, as an LSU fan, like, no, man, embrace this. This is as good as it'll ever get. No matter what happens, like right here, right now, the fact that you get over the 8-4, the fact that you're right there in the thick of it, you're going to be in the college football playoff, like, embrace this as a fan, because this is as sweet as it'll ever get right now. And then you can just kind of ride the rest of it and have fun along the ride.
Talking to Peter Burns here on TexAgs Live. All right, Peter, let's talk about the way the College Football Playoff Committee had A&M at 3. And I've said this on the show, and Billy, I think, had a different point of view, but I don't really care that they're number 3. I think if they win these games the rest of the way and they win an SEC championship game, they'll be 1 or 2. That's my opinion of the situation. That being said, what they said about A&M, maybe not having the offense or the defense that Indiana had is what kind of like, well, I don't like your reasons. What did you think of the reasons?
I mean, again, I used to lose my mind over it as well, too. And then I've realized after doing it for, however many long years we've had a college football playoff, that the committee and especially the chair contradict each other every single week. And it's just like, in Charlie Brown, where the teacher, we never actually hear the voice. It's like, wah, 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 wah. Like, that's basically what I hear when the committee, like, I turn it off when they start asking about what the actual rationale behind it, because it's never the best. It's never the most deserving. The College Football Playoff Committee will always take the path of least resistance and what's the easiest way to explain. So, and it varies week to week. So again, you guys are in the right mindset of going, I'm not really too concerned about it. You handle your business. And that's the way I think Mike Elko has coached this team, and that's the reason why they're not undefeated.
PB, what did you think of Lane Kiffin, who kind of had A&M's back? When it first came out, I was like, is he trolling? But I've learned to realize I don't think he's trolling. I think he's actually advocating for Ole Miss, especially if they were to play A&M, and also just for the SEC in general.
Yeah, I think with Lane, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. And you're right. The first thing is like, all right, here comes Lane. What is he trying to say? But I think ultimately he does truly believe that the best football in the best football in the country is played in the SEC. And the committee, which is made up of members all throughout the country, agree that, when you look at the rankings and how many teams are out there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm done trying to figure out the hieroglyphics of his social media accounts and what if he's dipping his hand towards something. But I will say this: I appreciate a bunch of coaches in the SEC or just college football that are truthful when they're asked questions. And I think Lane Kiffin has become more comfortable in his skin, and he's right. I mean, I think he goes to bat for A&M. But again, when we're talking about unbalanced schedules right now, we don't know. All we know is that they're in the top three. I will say this, though. I am upset, and I went on a little tirade last night on the idea that, it's ridiculous that you could be a top 4 seed in college football. It's great to get a bye, but the fact that you don't get an opportunity to play a home game is absolutely a crime. And that has to be addressed sooner or later. And I hope it's sooner, because the fact that A&M works this hard, they either go undefeated or become a top 4 bid. They get a bye, which is great, but they deserve to be in front of that fan base that has supported them in Kyle Field for a home playoff game.
Talking to Peter Burns on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Peter, you tweeted something, I think it was you, I'm pretty sure it was you, about Georgia giving you Ohio State vibes from last year. And I thought, you know what? I see where he's going with this. So kind of expand on that thought.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember Ohio State was put together this huge, great roster. We're all excited about it, or a lot of people were excited about it. And then they just never kind of put it in, fifth gear. It's like the clutch wasn't working. They were just kind of herky-jerky, and then lose to Michigan. You're thinking, all right, they're overrated. And then they flipped the switch. And I think Georgia is an extremely young team. And Glenn Schumann and Mike Bobo, and they're trying to figure out what ingredients they have, and they're getting bigger, better, faster, and stronger. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really liked them this weekend at home against Texas. They just have the DNA of being able to win, and I think that they're finding out who they are. I think, for every college football team, when you have 30, 40 guys that are transferring in, a lot of new faces between recruits and the portal, is that it's going to take a while to figure out, what you have. And I think Georgia's finally showing that. That was all the markings of a trap game against Mississippi State, and they just absolutely crushed them. So I'm not saying they're going to be as good, but they're going to definitely be a college football playoff contender.
Peter, I know you tweeted about Diego Pavia maybe getting a Heisman vote or an invite to New York, I should say. How many SEC quarterbacks do you think get that invite? As of today, is it 3 potentially?
I mean, it potentially could be 3. I don't know what Gunner. I mean, Gunner could be an outside looking in if all of a sudden he just crushes it against the Texas, secondary that's a defense that's pretty good, and then and just has a monster game against Georgia Tech. But take him out of the equation. I think Ty Simpson, with what he's done at that offense, because they can't run the ball, it's pretty much all Ty. I think he gets that love. I think Marcel Reed should get that love. And I think Diego Pavia should get that love as well, too. And when I look at it, as much as I love Marcel Reed and he deserves to be in that mix right now, I could see a world in which A&M would still have a lot of success, but not as much success with Marcel Reed. I don't think as a program, Vanderbilt is nearly where they're at if Diego Pavia is not there. So I know it's not a Lifetime Achievement Award, but I do think Pavia and Marcel Reed should be involved in that conversation.
Hey, I want to close out with the mess at LSU and just in general. I know BK is not playing ball, and I understand why he's not playing ball, by the way. But there's a lot of drama going on there. So I guess your thoughts on that, and also when do you think the dominoes start falling for just college football coaching jobs in general?
Yeah, I mean, again, I still think we're about at least a month away from them making any decisions there. And just every time do you think kind of like the water has settled in the bayou, like somebody just jumps in and cannonballs and then it just splashes everywhere. And this is the weirdest thing now is the fact that they said, well, technically we didn't fire you. Okay. Does that mean Brian Kelly can show up the guy in Office Space and just start gutting the fish and just kind of hanging out and nobody fixes the glitch? It doesn't make any sense. Pay the man his money. Stop messing around with the whole lawsuits thing. You guys loved it when he was winning games. And my question is we're going to fire him for cause. All right. Had LSU beaten A&M by 25 at home, would you have still fired him for cause on that Sunday morning? I think we all know the answer to that. So, again, it just looks like a mess, and it doesn't make it any easier or cheaper to hire the next head coach in Baton Rouge.
That's our buddy, Peter Burns. Peter, thanks for your time, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Y'all enjoy this ride. See you, bud.
See you, man. PB, they're on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. By the way, I think Buppy's is coming tomorrow to feed us, so that's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Buppy. I appreciate that, and the entire Buppy's Catering and Bartending crew. Also, if you are in the Houston area and you want to get kind of a, recap, if you will, of these shows the last couple of days, you can check us out on Space City Home Network in Houston. That's the home of the Astros, the home of the Rockets, and home of the A-Team, and we'll be on there at 2 o'clock today. Nick does a lot of work to get that show. Without Nick, it wouldn't be on there. So
yeah, it's Billy from Monday, it's Josh Pate, it's Marty Smith, and a little David and OB. So a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. It's just a buffet of awesomeness, except that I'm in it. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with a final segment. We'll see if Caden's got anything to provide the show. I feel like he hasn't spoken since the first segment, poor kid. He thinks that I was really upset with him when he tried to kill me on the show. Right now, when it comes to your money or your peace of mind, it starts with the right team, and that right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They are an independent fiduciary serving clients across Texas with no commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise does run deep there at Paragon Financial. At Paragon, credentials matter, and so does your future. So visit their website, paragon-adv.com, or call them up, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olson wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. Nick, one of my favorite things to do is to pick on people and see their responses. I've been picking on
Caden, because that means I love Caden. I like picking on people.
It's usually a good sign if you're getting picked on around here.
Before we get Caden to read a comment or two, and before he destroys something else in the studio, Daily Company, they're a family-owned, licensed, and insured business. They offer HVAC, electrical, and plumbing generator services available to you 24/7. HVAC-wise, they got the thermostat repairs, refrigerant leaks, the furnace failures, and the seasonal tune-ups. Plumbing-wise, leak repairs, clogged drains, water heater installation, and maintenance to keep those pipes in top shape. Electrical wiring, outlet repairs for upgrades and safety and efficiency. And they serve all of Bryan, College Station, Houston, and Austin. Upfront prices with no surprises. Contact the Daily Company, 979-2060-2020, or visit them at godaily.com to experience the daily difference. Okay. I didn't know how to speak there. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Caden a moment ago said he laughs when he looks at me. I don't know if that's a compliment or if that's like taken like, it's kind of mean when you think about it.
We just radiate joy into the studio.
I'm a radiator of joy. And I rarely get upset when things go, like some people can't handle like, oh, I got to make this little adjustment on the show. I got to yell. You and I don't do that. Okay, go ahead.
So as we know,
South, I said there. You just kind of went over your head.
It's fine. South Carolina fired offensive coordinator Mike Shula, so this will be their first game without him. So
I'm worried about that.
Just a couple of numbers here. South Carolina, 120th in scoring offense.
Can I tell you why I'm worried about that before you keep going?
After I read the stats.
Oh, sorry, boss.
128th in rushing offense, 104th in passing offense, 132nd in sacks allowed, 123rd in third down conversion rate, and 128th in tackles for loss allowed.
Well, thank you for allowing me to respond now to retort. The reason I'm worried about that is I've talked to a couple of different South Carolina insiders this week, okay? And what they have told me is the biggest problem with the offense has been the NFL style that Mike Shula brought and their lack of creativity and of trying to run sometimes when there's nowhere to run, and some of the play calling. And they haven't been creative. They have, and what one of the guys told me, and it'll come out on Nuño's notes, is that you can't find many teams in college football that use an NFL system, and actually it works in today's college football. So now they make the switch. I don't know if 2 weeks is enough time to snap. Good snap. Snap your fingers. That was quality, wasn't it?
That was a good snap.
And things change. But I do think if the biggest issue is the play calling and the style of offense that they're doing, is 2 weeks enough time to give you enough of a different look to get you an extra score or two? And if you look at how they've lost some of these games, they haven't all been blowouts. Like there's been some really tight games against quality teams. So that's, if I were to worry about something, it'd be that. Oh, by the way, it's hard to tackle the North Sellers.
I think the problem, though, and the big question is with how poor their offensive line has played, 132nd in sacks allowed, and they can't block, they can't run the ball, is a change in offensive coordinator enough to fix or overcome that big of a problem on the offensive line? Or are they still going to be heavily limited by that?
Last year, they had a terrible offensive line. A&M couldn't sack them. This year, A&M sacks them. That's my hope. Okay?
Sounds good.
Cassius Howell coming after you. Lenoris, he's raising the roof over there. That'll do it for TexAgs Live. You can stop now. That was a little bit too long.